bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion. And Carey, Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, gossip, pop culture, whatever tickles your fancy. We chat about it on this good old show. So, before we get to some of our topics, if you could please, if you have not, do me a solid and hit that like button. Be sure to smash the notification button if you're new to the channel, and also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We got a lot of topics we got to spill today, including Janet Jackson made some history with her Together Again tour, so we'll get into that. We got some news on who's going to be the recipients of the BET Ultimate Icon Award. Jennifer Lopez is wanting everybody to know out in these streets that she good and happy post-divorce to Ben Affleck. The Diddy jury, or attorneys, I should say, has been trying to clamor for a mistrial. They requested a mistrial from the judge. The judge was like, hell to the no. This trial, like the show, this trial must go on. And we got some good news regarding his ex, Cassie Ventura. Joe Exotic is out here pissed because Donald Trump decided to pardon the Chrisleys. So we'll get into that story. Kevin Costner and his Horizon 2 film is being sued by one of the stunt performers over an unscripted grape scene. So we're going to get into that. Speaking of grapes, Andrew Tate and his brother has been charged with that in the UK. So we got to get into that. Nicki Minaj is in Vogue Italia, and she revealed why she's taking her sweet time with her upcoming album. Don't take as long as Cardi B, though, girl. We got the House of Villains season 3 cast has been revealed. They're going to start shooting this week. I actually have a list of the queens. I mean, well, there is a queen on the show from Drag Race, because it seems like every season they have to have a Drag Race girl on there. But I'm gonna let you know which villain it is. So we have that, and yeah, Tiffany is back again as in New York. She's on there for a third time. I got the whole list. We'll break it down. They start filming. It comes out next year. So we get into that. Plus, we got to talk about John Travolta, because apparently there was a guy who was an exec over at a studio and said that John Travolta pulled out of American Gigolo due to its gay subtext. And child, knowing the things we've seen about John Travolta and them rumors that been floating around, I could see, Dolphy protests a little too much. So we got to get into that story. Plus, did y'all even know Cecilia Gentili, who was on Pose? Remember, y'all heard she died. She was a trans pioneer. I had no idea it was a result of her buying drugs that was mixed with Fenty. But that was a tea that came out today, because apparently one of the dealers that dealt her the drugs that was laced with Fenty was sentenced to 19 years in prison. So we got to get into that. Plus, I'm sure y'all probably heard about King of Drag, which is like the Drag King competition series. Pink News was out here asking, is it the new Drag Race? And Tenderoni, who's on the show, said that the show is a game changer. So we're going to break that down. Plus, I'll give my overall thoughts if King of Drag is the new Drag Race. So we got that and a whole lot more. And like I stated before, if you can, please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to smash the notification bell also, so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I will be putting timestamps and all the good stuff in once the show is wrapped. So, those who want to just get right to the situation until I can just start cutting up and doing the small edits, then y'all could just skip to the topics at hand instead of dealing with the banter we talk about on this show. Let me hit my banner. Without further ado, let's get into this story. So let's give a huge congrats to the one and only Janet Jackson. Yes, Miss Jackson, if you nasty, who, just came fresh off her Icon Award win. Kudos to her for that, but y'all, that AMAs was a mess. If y'all want to know my full-on breakdown, definitely check out my video that I posted about Jennifer Lopez and how she was accused of queer baiting. Especially, I find it funny that she was out here making out with a guy and one of her female dancers when they was like she was over in Dubai performing for the prince. And they notoriously homophobic out there. But then you're performing at World Pride next month, and you out here kissing girls and allegedly liking it. Okay, I guess, Jennifer goes where the wind blows and the coin. So Janet wound up getting her flowers and everything. Unfortunately, it happened to happen on an award show that nobody cared about. But nevertheless, kudos to her. But they're saying that, yeah, the thing was successful. Her tour that she had that came out, well, that was the it's funny, I have it right here. Why am I sitting here trying to think about it? The Together Again tour. They said it is her first tour to gross over $100 million, according to touring data. With this milestone, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, becomes only the sixth Black woman in history to achieve this feat, joining the ranks of Tina Turner, Beyonce, Rihanna, SZA, and Nicki Minaj. The music legend recently kicked off her Resorts World. I cannot speak apparently. Resorts World residency. Say that 10 times fast. In Las Vegas. And despite reports that she's been struggling to fill seats at her residency, she just added more dates. It also shows, you know, with all of this, kudos to her, because I will say that they said that she sold 1 million tickets and it grossed over $100 million. I think that might have been her first tour to ever do that. But here's the thing: since Janet Jackson has gotten back in the good graces of the people and people stopped clowning her over that whole mishap that happened at the Super Bowl, whereas Justin Timberlake got off scot-free with that whole situation while y'all kept trying to go in and drag Janet over the whole Tittygate situation. I just felt like people were a little way more harsh on her, and they should have been just as harsh. But the good thing I liked about all of this was the fact that, people started giving Justin his lashings years later. I think it was like, when you know better, you do better. And then with the whole Me Too and everything, that was like we were in the whole accountability culture. People started to drag Justin more. So I did like that everybody was started coming around to Janet's defense. But it was ugly when that whole situation happened back in the day. And the fact that she's been consistently touring and getting back in the good graces of the people, and the fans have really been showing their love and support. Kudos to her that she was able to accumulate this kind of money and sold this many tickets, which kind of has me wondering if that story and everything was necessarily true, that she was struggling to sell tickets. Because if they were going, oh, this is hours before this, 60% wasn't sold. How many times have I told y'all on this show, working in live entertainment, that yeah, stuff could be 60% sold, but trust and believe, the day of, the tickets will do what need to be done, and they'll actually sell within minutes, especially because a lot of concerts, when the tickets start out to be $400 for the good seats, they'll drop the number to like $30 or whatever the case is. Because sometimes I'll have conversations with the guests when I'm at those places, and I'm talking to them, and they'll be telling me about certain tickets and the prices and things, and I'll have conversations with them, and they'll be like, I spent 100 something on this seat and I'm in the 100s, and I was sitting there, okay. Well, but except them playoff tickets for the Knicks when they was playing at the Garden, I was like, oh, damn, thank God I work here, and I get to watch the game for free, because I cannot imagine y'all being in the 100s and you paying 1,200 a seat. Like, that's crazy. But if you got the money, then you do what need to be done. But the court side was like tens of thousands of dollars. So I can only imagine how much money Timothy Chalamet was paying, because he was at a lot of them games. So with that being said, congratulations to you, Janet. And then this is having me think, like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about Miss Jackson, because all this time I've been sitting up here saying, well, maybe she need to kind of change up her little 1-2 step. She continues to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And maybe it just seems like her fans don't want her to reinvent the wheel. They like the fact that she sticks to the rivers and the lakes that she's used to, and doesn't just switch it up. That they prefer, and when she's doing it that way. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the way you want to continue to do the thing, and if that's the thing that works for you, then who am I to tell somebody to switch up their situation? I guess maybe what it is that I'm so used to seeing artists, I guess because of the whole Madonna situation, like I always expect everybody to reinvent and all this other stuff. But sometimes some people are just good at their career. Just let me just continue to do the same thing. Let me just continue to just play it safe and just give you all the hits and the choreography and the cute costumes and all the other stuff. And it works for her. So in addition, I should say, with that list of the highest grossing tours of all time among Black women. They have Beyonce's Renaissance Tour of $579 million. Then we have Beyonce's Formation Tour, and I'm very curious to hear how much she's going to accumulate with Cowboy Carter. That might be her biggest tour. But yeah, Renaissance Tour, $579 million. Formation Tour was $256 million. The Miss Carter Show Tour was $229 million. Rihanna's Diamonds Tour was $141 million. Tina Turner's 50th Anniversary Tour was $132.5 million. Tina Turner's Wildest Dreams Tour was $130 million. Tina Turner's 24/7 Tour was $122.5 million. Beyonce's I'm Sasha Fierce Tour came in at $119.5 million. SZA's SOS Tour came in at $113 million. Rihanna's Anti Tour, that was the last tour she did before she decided to go off and, create her little empire and children with ASAP. That came in at 110 million. And then we have Pink Friday 2 tour, the Nicki Minaj tour that she did twice, 108 million. And then the Janet Jackson Together Again tour comes just below Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday 2 tour with $100 million. So congratulations to you, Janet. You are definitely, getting your money. I guess the people are getting their money's worth. You doing your thing, and the fans love you for it. So I say this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you happy to hear this news regarding Janet Jackson? We'll say what you want about her, but look, she's accumulating them coins. She's selling a lot of tickets, and that Together Again tour did pretty great. Even though some people did complain, it was like she ain't really changed it up or whatever. But apparently that has been working for the fandom. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Robert says, how does she make 100 million when her European leg looks embarrassing? Did she even do are we talking about Together Again? Is that even still around? Or I thought she was done with the whole I have to turn my phone on do not disturb because I am so sick and tired of all these messages popping in and just my wrist be vibrating like crazy. But anyway, yeah. Well, I don't know. I have to look at the numbers, but look, they said she made $100 million. Well, that was according to that grape juice, and also, they had the tea over there, and then also Touring Data came up with the numbers. So, what else? Oh, Roro says I haven't watched the news lately, but I heard they found out Jenna's Can you imagine? I mean, look, she out here talking about Kamala Harris ain't a Black woman. Maybe Jenna not Black either. Maybe look, we was all trying to debate what Michael's race was, right? Because he went from being a Black man with a nose spread out across his face. You can win, and then all of a sudden he got a whole new nose. One thing you sold 40% tickets. I sent the photo in your inbox. Child, look at you being messy. Wait, let me not laugh because that doesn't capture my when I be trying to open up my phone. Who did see you sent me this thing about Benson Boone considering retiring from music? Child, can you imagine? And they talking about to pursue a career in gymnastics. Well, shit, you like flipping off every damn thing. You might have better success doing that than them horrible ass songs you've been releasing. Wait, what's going on with Dawn? Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to save that for the rest of the thing. You said allegedly Janet is Michael's what? I'm saying that old tea that Janet is actually she had a baby young and then she actually gave birth to Michael. I don't think that can't be true because remember, Michael is older than Janet. Michael is like what? Same age as Madonna. Isn't he like 65? Will be 66 in September. No, August. He was an August Virgo. So you can't she couldn't have had him and he be older. Like that doesn't make sense. Unless you're trying to say she was lying about her age or the family lied about her age. I don't think that happened either. But anyway, let's get into this other story. So the BET Awards is gonna be coming up soon. I don't know if they even announced who the nominations and stuff were. I don't even remember. But apparently, Mariah Carey, Jamie Foxx, Kirk Franklin, and Snoop Dogg will be honored with the BET Ultimate Icon Award, celebrating their decades of groundbreaking contributions to music, entertainment, advocacy, and community impact. And my question on this whole situation is this: have we forgiven Snoop for cooking for Trump? So that's what inquiring minds want to know. Like, I don't know, are we forgiving Snoop Dogg and all that other stuff? Like, is he invited to the cookout? Because I don't know. Sometimes I don't be knowing if the people got the invite revoked. Did you give it back? Like, I don't. What's the tea? I need Black Twitter to let me know in the comments. So they said the show will air live from the Peacock Theater in LA on Monday, June 9th. So that's like in 2 weeks. Saying thank you at BET for this honor. This is what Franklin wrote on social platform Twitter. The award is meant to celebrate groundbreaking contributions across the entertainment, music, advocacy, and community impact, according to BET. Now, last month, Carey was notably shut out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame despite her tangible and lasting cross-genre influence of music. There was a YouTube video that somebody posted. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it. I've been busy in the midst of trying to catch up on a lot of stuff and watching other things. But there was a video that pointed out, they were like, why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't want to induct Mariah Carey. I didn't get to watch it, so I don't even know the answer to that, but it was on YouTube. So hopefully I'll be able to watch it before the BET situation, and then we'll just have to revisit why they saying that they won't give it to her. But I do think it's crazy that y'all not honoring Mariah Carey. She is somebody who writes a lot of her material and has been very prominent in steering her career in the direction she wanted to, instead of her being this young girl singing adult contemporary songs, because that's what Tommy Mottola wanted her to sing. She was that girl that wanted to do her little, her R&B and her hip hop and the sampling and all the other stuff. And we all know the history behind that, how Tommy Mottola tried to hijack her sound and give it to another artist, that one that hosted the American Music Awards the other day, and that sort of thing. So now they said Fox recently released the stand-up special, The Very Unfunny, What Had Happened Was, which detailed the harrowing medical scare he experienced in April of 2023 while hospitalized following a debilitating stroke. Saying, I was fighting for my life, but I'm here right in front of you, he said tearfully during his set. If I dance all night, don't mind me. I'm happy to be alive. And, everybody's been still running around with that rumor that Diddy has something to do with him being in that coma or whatever the case. He said Diddy had nothing to do with it, and if that's what he said, that's what we should go along with until proven otherwise. Now, this year's slate of honorees makes it the first time the Ultimate Icon Award has been presented since 2019, when it was awarded to Tyler Perry. Past recipients also include, who we just talked about in the previous story, Janet Jackson and Deborah L. Lee. Now, in addition to Carey, Franklin, and Snoop Dogg, the 2025 BET Awards will also feature performances from Lil Wayne, Tiana Taylor, Glorilla, Playboy Cardi, and Leon Thomas. The night will also pay tribute to 106 & Park in honor of the show's 25th anniversary. And I feel old with that show being 25 years old, which will bring together former host AJ Calloway, Free Marie Knight, Julissa Bermudez, Keisha Shante, Roxy Diaz, and Terrence J. Why y'all didn't bring Bow Wow? He was a part of that show at one point. Now, they said performers for the tribute include. Well, that's because he'll be busy performing. Now I should have read the rest before I asked the question. Because remember, Bow Wow was a host on the show at one point. Now, performers of the tribute include Bow Wow, A. Marie, B2K, Jim Jones, Maya, and T.I. First of all, Maya been turning it. Shout out to her. I'm glad to see A. Marie back on the scene. She did reveal when she was on Tamara Hall's show that she is working on a new. That she's working. I don't know. She got a new album coming. It's the first one in 15 years. Don't know when the album's going to come out. They said later this year. She does have a new book that's coming out, which I did find bizarre. One, Tamron talked too damn much. She don't never let nobody get a word in before she cuts somebody off. She need to work on that. And 5, 6 seasons in, sis, you should have that on lock. And then after that, it was, I still don't know what the book was about. Like, she was up there promoting her book, and I'm confused. Like, I don't know what the book's about. It's a ghost, it's not a ghost. Like, this is some weird stuff. I don't know. I don't care enough about the book, but I am an A. Marie fan, so I will listen to the music. And we'll see if she, she still got that one thing. It's the one thing that got me tripping. So I'm looking forward to that. And interesting, they talking about B2K because you mean Omarion gonna get up there with that group and start performing with B2K? Okay, we'll see. Raz B and all of them up in there. Like that'll be a cute little situation. We'll see how that all works out. But if the fact that they can get all these people to reunite, and I loved 106 and Park back in the day. That was like, and I know some people probably hate it, but yes, it was the black equivalent of TRL. So like they were doing the same thing TRL was doing, and TRL wasn't bringing those R&B type artists like the Keisha Coles and all of them over there. Even though I did work at VH1 and I worked on the production that interviewed Keisha Cole, but nevertheless, um, they really were more pop based. They were more Britney and the Backstreet Boys and Pink and Madonna and all of that. Versus, and of course they had the rap rock stuff. They really weren't over there pumping out the Bow Wows and the B2Ks and a lot of those type of artists. And Cassie, child, y'all remember what happened when Cassie got herself up on that stage? It was trying to get in her pop music bag, and that was a mess. So, and it looked like she ain't recovered from it ever since. Then she wound up latching on to Diddy, and the rest is history. So, congratulations to these four. But like, I still am curious as to find out. So we good with Snoop right now? Because I remember after the whole Trump situation, y'all was ready to cancel him. But I understand he has been doing like stuff for the community, and I know he like coaches the football team and all the other stuff. So we'll see if people still are here for Uncle Snoop or he canceled. Because I'll be paying attention to Black Twitter when the BET Awards happen, and y'all be up in the comments with y'all shade. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Mariah, Snoop, Jamie Foxx, and Kirk Franklin being named BET's Ultimate Icon Award recipients? Whatever your thoughts are, y'all know what to do. Let me know in the comments down below. He said, according to the TikTok that Brandon sent when he called Janet. He said, I guess he friends with David Sachs, so the answer on Snoop is no. He's a capitalist. We don't fuck with people that love money. I mean, I like people that love money, but don't be doing that shadiness. But you throwing your own people under the bus because you want to check. But then it wasn't that long ago that you was talking about F Trump and F this and F that. But now you in this whole, like a lot of them, if you can't beat them, join them. And it's like, okay, so you can't be trusted. They're going to throw tomatoes at Snoop, and he deserves every. Gloria Estefan new Spanish album drops tonight. Classic tropical Latin sound, which is much needed. I'm glad she didn't jump on reggaeton. Yeah, they probably would have been like, you know what? She a little too old to be out here doing that whole reggaeton sound. Although it would have been nice if she could have did something to collaborate with the kids. But then again, she's old school. She has a specific fan base. It's kind of like Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony is not jumping outside of salsa, and Romeo Santos is not jumping outside of bachata. So, I mean, he'll dabble every now and again in a different genre, but his foundation will always be bachata. Just like Mark Anthony is the king of salsa, of the generation that he's, accumulated with that signature sound. So it's like, yeah, Gloria do what Gloria does. Some people say, oh, she didn't sound that great. I'm like, Gloria pretty much sound like Gloria at her age. Like, what did you want her to sound like when she was back with the Miami Sound Machine? Like, her voice is not going to be the same. But 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 yeah, it is kind of good that when a lot of the older people don't jump on the bandwagon because they want to be young and they want to be hip and they want to be cool and stuff. Like somebody who could play around in that whole genre because they're still, they're on the cusp of like, yeah, they're older, but they still lean youthful, meaning they look youthful and they can play in that whole situation. Like you can get Jennifer Lopez could do that, and Ricky Martin can do that because they're both over 50, but they kind of still lean young. Even though I did read them reads that everybody was out here calling Jennifer Lopez old when she was up there doing what she was doing at the AMAs, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I want to see y'all at 55. When y'all get to 55, I want to see you do all that shit she was doing in that show when you get to that age. And then I want to hear y'all talk about the whole old thing. So let's not do that. I don't like the ageist comments. Oh, she old. Oh, she desperate. I mean, she might have been when she was making out with them people on stage thinking she was Madonna. But, I think he is. I think he is on there. I mean, I don't watch The Voice. I could never really get into The Voice, but I have seen the commercials. I do believe that he is back on The Voice. All right, y'all. Now, speaking of Jennifer Lopez, let's talk about her. So apparently, she just performed at the AMAs, and apparently the word on the curb is her happiness don't cost a thing like her love, because she insisted when she was at the American Music Awards, I believe it was on the red carpet when she was speaking to Access Hollywood or something or another, that Miss Jennifer said that she is happy being single. I said, okay, you better do you, niece. I mean, I know 9 times out of 10, the way y'all be talking, oh yeah, I'm happy single. It's like, okay, now I'm like, I don't know if I believe you, because Dolph be protest a little too much. But y'all be out here talking about, oh yeah, I'm happy being single. Oh yeah, see me, look, I'm by myself. I'm done. It's like, okay, now I feel like you're overcompensating. You're really not happy. People who are really genuinely happy being by themselves don't have to shout it from the damn rooftop. But nevertheless, getting into the story. So around the 3:30 mark on the video that she did for Access Hollywood, I'm not gonna play it because it's NBC and y'all already know how they be trying me with these damn copyrights. So Lauren Herbert joked that Tiffany Haddish wanted to go manhunting that night with Lopez. She said that to me. I said, girl, I'm not looking for no man. This is what Jennifer replied. I'm happy right now. I'm not trying to ruin it, okay? Now, the ensemble actors reconciled with Affleck, as y'all know, in 2021 after two previously dated roughly 20 years before. Now, after their first breakup, Jennifer was married to Mark Anthony from 2004 to 2014. That's probably her longest relationship, because that was a good 10 years. But I guess according to her, it wasn't a good 10 years because, the marriage is where it is, null and void. At least she got 2 kids out of it. And then, they said before dating exes, Casper Smart and A-Rod. Excuse me, while Affleck was married to Jennifer Garner from 2005 to 2018, after which he dated Lindsay Shookus and Anna de Armas, which allegedly Anna de Armas is hunching Tom Cruise. And then, remember, allegedly, is it really alleged or is it fact right now? Like, it's come out and it's actually been said that Ben Affleck actually cheated on Jennifer Garner with the nanny. Like, I think we all know that. Now, last year, but I'm going to just say allegedly, just to protect myself. So now last year, Lopez admitted to Nicki Glazer in a story for interview that falling out of love with Affleck devastated her, but explained her lesson she learned from the split, saying, but you have to be healthy. You have to be complete. If you want something that's more complete, you have to be good on your own. I thought I learned that, but I didn't. And then this summer, I had to be like, I need to go off and be on my own. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do that. And here's the thing, what I'm trying to get from all of this, because I'm trying to read between the lines, but maybe the lines is real clear with me just reading that. The fact that she said she thought she had learned the lesson, because we saw that in the This Is Me, whatever documentary, the musical, whatever the hell it was that she had on Prime. She was like, oh yeah, I went to therapy and I was on my own and blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden Ben comes into my life and I felt like my circle was complete. I had found the one. It was the one that got away, and then we matured and we got back together, and it just became full circle. But then I think what happened was y'all was in that honeymoon phase, and then when the honeymoon phase wore off for a second time, you realize, I mean, I don't know if it's the both of them. I'm thinking like it takes two to tango when it comes to a relationship, whether positive or negative, that the old things came back. Did y'all work out the old situations that happened in y'all first time, so that way you don't repeat that in the second relationship? Instead of being like, oh, he's the one, he love bombed me, I left A-Rod because I was in a relationship with somebody who wasn't A-Rod cheating on her too, allegedly. So then I got love bombed by Ben, and he's talking about me in reports and articles and things that, that she's the one that got away, and she's my soulmate and all this other stuff. But y'all two could not make it work both times past the 2-year mark. So yeah, maybe on paper y'all are meant to be. Maybe in an alternate universe, the multiverse, the MCU multiverse, and the DC. Do the DC have a multiverse? I think they do. But the MCU, let's play with the MCU, because they be more in the multiverse than any other superhero situation. So the MCU, the multiverse through there, maybe y'all are meant to be together. But in this verse that we are experiencing, I think that y'all are just too set in your ways to, I think, compromise. I think Ben likes the idea of being a bachelor, but if he want to get his dick wet, he'll go and get it wet. And then he wants to be all by himself. Like, he gets me very moody, and I can't be around somebody that's like that because I can be moody too. And I'm like, and two moody people is not going to work. Like, one of us is going to unalive one another. Like, there's going to be some blood. There's going to be some guts. It's going to be a scene out of Scream 4. Remember when Olivia got her? I think that was her name. Olivia, the girl that was in the apartment, the house next door, and Sydney's cousin and Kirby actually witnessed Jill, that was her name. Jill and Kirby witnessed her getting all cut up in that room, and then they went up to the room and it was all full of blood. That would be me doing that to somebody. So I can't be in a situation with somebody where it's like, yeah, if you moody and I'm moody, it's not gonna work. So Ben give me mood swings. Jennifer seemed like she's set in her ways with her diva-dom and her demands and this and that, and doesn't seem like she's willing to compromise. I mean, I'm sure she do love Peen. She do love a man. But if you want to love a man, just love him to get you together, like, and in regards of like give you some yum bouncy, and then after that send him on your way. But you give me like you can't be in a relationship with someone of the opposite sex. Your kids, your friends, all of that I think works for you. But if ever comes a moment where you feeling a little tingle between me down there and you need that satisfied, get you a man that could do that. And then when he nut and you nut, send that nut on his way. Because marriage, I do feel like, is not for everybody. Relationships, those long-term relationship things, I don't feel like it's for everybody. Like, I know for me, I'm very much like, I like being a loner. I like being myself. And being in the metropolitan area like New York, there's always plenty of fish in the sea. If somebody did come along, I wouldn't rule it out. But I do like my own company. I do like being a loner. I like not having to answer to people and doing my own thing. And if I need to get off, trust to believe there are ways for me to do that and then go about my business. But I do value my family. I do value my friendships. And I feel like that fulfills me enough rather than, oh, I have to be in a relationship in order to make me feel complete and whole. And I think that was something that Jennifer Lopez needs to learn, or according to her, she is learning. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do y'all believe her that she ain't looking for a man? Look, once upon a time, we used to always clown her and say she couldn't last 5 minutes without one being in her damn life. And look, she actually has been doing the work, and we haven't seen her with nobody. So good luck. I believe you, Miss Jennifer. I do think it's because it's with the age, you're getting older and you learning. But sometimes, excuse me, allergies. We gotta learn the hard way. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, Cleveland said, yes, this fall. And Phyllis, I saw Janet in 2023 on the second show of the tour. Is that the Together Again tour you talking about that you saw her on that? And was it packed? Because according to Robert, it wasn't. So, ooh, y'all shady. But look, they said she made $100 million. That's what we're going with. I don't make the news. I just report it. All right, y'all. So we got some new Diddy news because apparently word on the curb was that he was trying to get himself a good old mistrial. And the judge kindly said, in the words of Amy Winehouse, no, no, no. Okay. So, Combs' team moved for the mistrial after prosecutors asked Los Angeles Fire Department arson investigator Lance Jimenez if fingerprint evidence related to the bombing of Kid Cudi's car had been destroyed. Prosecutors also asked about who might have authorized the destruction. The Bad Boy Records founders' lawyers argued that the line of questioning could potentially imply the idea that Combs could buy his way out of jail. Now, we all know, based on the history of the diddler, that he is notorious for buying his way out of trouble. Hence, do we need to travel back to that infamous pow situation at the nightclub where you and your ex Jennifer Lopez ran a couple of damn lights and y'all ended up with a mugshot, which Guadalupe had to say, oh, so you better get rid of that man. Get rid of him. Y'all, you're not with him no more. Like, we're not playing that. Like, your career is about to launch. You're about to be this big thing because of Selena and all these other movies that you're doing. And here you go hobnobbing with this moron who's going to basically take you down. And that being the whole buyout situation. Remember the buyout situation from the stampede that happened at the celebrity basketball game where people died? So, of course, the breadcrumbs is there. So y'all sitting up here trying to act like that we all got short-term memories. Well, if y'all got a short-term memory, you already know Chris with his receipts is here to remind you of the stuff that this man has done and is capable of. So if y'all gonna sit up in here and try to play this whole thing that he's not capable of buying his way out of situations, then y'all about as slow as they come. So now they went in and said they were trying to plant this idea that to these jurors that Mr. Combs authorized this. Well, then who did then? If he didn't, you was up in here acting like you owned Cassie, like she was your piece of cattle. Not even your girlfriend. You act like you owned her, like she was a piece of your damn property. And you were the only one that were able to say and do whatever you wanted with her. Hence the whole story about Kid Cudi and her secretly dating. And she had to have two phones because while she was caught up in this situation, trying to find her way to get out of this Diddy situation, she was developing feelings for Cudi and didn't know how to get herself out of it. And even when Cudi was helping her in certain situations, when you suffer from that damn Stockholm syndrome and you've been beat down mentally and physically to where you don't even have a sense of who the hell you are, and that's when people are really drunk in love, where you lose all sense of who you are as a human being. And I could see why this whole situation transpired. And the fact that Capricorn, his ex-assistant, had to testify, and Cudi testified as well, that the diddler had him and his goons up in Cudi house, locked the dog in the bathroom, started opening up his gift. Like, who are you to be coming up in my goddamn house, number one? And you better be lucky this. Well, I don't know if is California a state where you could pow somebody on site? Because you know they could do that in Texas and a bunch of other places. If you go up on somebody's property, oh, I could pow you on site. And that's because you on my property without my permission. So did he be thinking because of his ego and all this other and his anger issues that he, when he don't get his way, he screams, he throws a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old child, which it also doesn't surprise me that I'm hearing these stories that Diddy's team is looking to Trump to pardon him in case he do go to jail, which I have a strong feeling he is. And I have a feeling that Trump probably most likely will pardon him. But even if he does decide or not decide to pardon him if he goes to jail, your career is done. Nobody is messing with you in this industry. Your career is done. So live off of the little bit of money you got left that you got saved up in stocks, bonds, or whatever the hell it is, because that's basically where your income is coming to. But then I did hear something else that Diddy is, let me Google that, because they said that Diddy is still making money. No, not still in jail. I know that he's still in jail. Diddy's still making money. Hold on, because I did see that they said Diddy, despite being in custody, is reportedly still making money by renting out his private jet. This side hustle involving his $60 million Gulfstream G550 has reportedly generated millions since his arrest. The jet has been used over 100 times, earning Diddy over $4 million. So yeah, he's over here making money, and I'm gonna try to see if he's making any more outside of that. Yeah, because they said according to the U.S., Diddy has earned $4.1 million by renting out his $60 million Gulfstream. We already read that. Love Air is being advised on charter broker sites as Jetty, with Silver Air operating the flights. So I think that is that the only thing? Because I'm trying to see if he was also trying to make any other money from that. But no, it just seems like, yeah, his jet, when people go and take his private jet to and from, because it's his and he owns it, that he's bringing in money. So he's not entirely broke. And you know what? That's smart. If anybody told him how to hustle correctly, it'd be Janice. I wish somebody would hustle her an actual human hair wig on her head, because no shade, but the outfits be a mess, the wigs be a mess. It's like, who's dressing Janice? It's like, she get dressed in the dark. But anyway, I want to windmill too hard on her. But look, you birthed them. So now they said Judge Aaron Submaranian denied the defense's motion, ruling out the questions were not prejudicial. Judge Sumranian then instructed the jury not to consider questions about the lost fingerprints. Now, Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Miscuddy, testified last week that his car caught on fire in January 2012 after someone threw a Molotov cocktail into it. At the time, Miscuddy had been dating Cassandra Cassie Ventura during a rough stretch in her 11-year on and off relationship with the diddler. Now, Ventura previously testified that Combs had threatened to blow up Miss Cuddy's car after finding out about the relationship. And and then they also said that he threatened to unalive him. So it's like, yeah, anybody, you was in this whole situation, like, if I can't have her, no one can. And you out here literally threatening people. You came to his house, you broke into his house, or I guess Cassie let him in. You opening up gifts, you locked his dog in the bathroom, and then you go and throw a Molotov cocktail in the roof through the roof of his car and burn his car up. And then when Cudi confronted Diddy on it, he wanted to act stupid. And then they said a while later, he apologized for everything. But if you innocent, if you ain't do nothing, what the hell are you apologizing to me for? And then had the nerve when he won that damn award. What was it, on the BET Awards? He went and won that freaking award, sitting up there with all that love crap, which I sat and rolled my eyes. I'm surprised I ain't cockeyed and my eyes ain't stuck up at the roof of my damn brain where I'm just looking up at it for the rest of my damn life with as hard as I rolled my eyes during that, giving that little situation when y'all gave him that stupid ass award, and he sit up there and gaslit and even had the nerve to go and drop thank you, Cassie, for being my rock and that ride that whatever the hell he said, when you literally did the same shit when you was with Kim Porter. When Cassie was like, that was finally the moment I knew that it was time for me to leave, because he was playing all y'all women against each other. When Kim Porter passed away and he gave that eulogy, I was in the darkest of times and all that other stuff. And really, bitch? Because I was the one that was there for you the whole damn time. And this is what you gonna sit up in here and say, because you got to say what you got to say to entertain these people, because you can't be yourself, so you got to sit up here and just spew a bunch of BS because you just want to tell people what they want to hear rather than being a real person. Y'all been talking about keep it real, but y'all don't. So yeah, that's the latest on this case. Nice try, Diddy's legal team. Y'all up in here trying to do a whole what is it? Like trying to get out of this whole slithering way out of a situation with a mistrial. It was a nice try. It wasn't gonna work. But before we get to the I get to my next stuff, I do want to hit on real quick a huge congratulations to Cassie, who just had her baby. I think she had it yesterday, her third child with Alex on, because I already know, like when she was when she went and testified against the diddler, it was an any day now type situation that she was gonna pop with that baby. So excuse me. According to reports, because they said she had to be rushed to the hospital, the singer gave birth to in a New York City hospital on Tuesday, May 27th, just 2 weeks after concluding her emotional 4-day testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking trial. Now, Cassie and Alex, who married in 2019, are already parents of 2 daughters, Frankie, born in December 2019, and Sonny, born in March of 2021. The couple announced their third pregnancy on February 2025 with a heartfelt Instagram post featuring their daughters and Cassie's baby bump, captured simply with a blue heart emoji and a number 3, where, of course, everybody had to jump in and thank send the congratulations and all that other stuff. Now, Cassie and her husband, Alex Stein, released a statement via their lawyer after Cassie's conclusion of her testimony in the Diddy trial. And it's funny, like, he went and said what he said, but I found it funny that according to Capricorn Clark, she was out here spilling tea, and she said that she had asked Cassie why she didn't leave Diddy. And she said, well, allegedly, according to her, she said, well, Jay-Z's already taken. Who am I going to date? Sis, really? This is what you thinking about? You thinking about encrusting your pussy in diamonds? Like, I believe you and all the other stuff that Diddy did and the abuse and all other stuff. But if this turns out to be true, like, girl, really? Like, you rather just stay in a relationship with a man because he's like being abused and beat up and kicked upside the head, and him playing, the reenactment of kung fu fighting, like doing a whole beat with his feet on your body parts. Like, you want him to do all of that, and you rather stay with that because who you gonna date? Because Jay-Z's taken. Oh yeah, Beyonce would have windmilled on that ass. She don't play when it comes to her man, which I still gag over the fact when she sings Jolene. I'm like, sis, don't nobody want Jay but you. But apparently, according to Capricorn, Cassie wanted him too. But anyway, so yeah, so congratulations to you, Cassie, on the whole baby situation. I hope that story that Capricorn Clark was out here spilling wasn't the truth, though, where she said that allegedly you wanted to get with Jay-Z, but since he was already taken, who was you gonna date? Says there's plenty of men out here that you could have thrown your cootie cat at if, since the music career wasn't working out. But look, you got a good thing going with Alex. So I'm glad it's working out for y'all. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all regards to both stories. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said Hannaford is straight lying. She misses that white. Okay. Jennifer Lopez. Oops, I'm sorry. Hannaford definitely misses Ben. She loves Ben. She out here trying to act like she don't, but you do. 30 years of Puff, and it has finally come to this. Okay, that's why I said it's a damn long. It took long enough, but I guess sometimes he may not come when you want him to, but he's always on time, as they always say. So karma gonna show up when she need to. Jennifer will be single for 2 more months before she meets a new guy. She can't stay single. Okay, and you said that woman has never been single. She stays with a man. Well, look, they said some people said piece of man is better than no man at all, right? Also, the music he produced for other acts like Mariah Carey, um, he won't be fully canceled because other artists won't get coins. I mean, like according to what's her name, Aubrey. Oh, it was the MTV Awards. Yeah, I knew it was one of them. I was like, was it the BET Awards? No, it was the MTV Awards. I knew it was one of them old tight ass awards. But yeah, it was the MTV Awards, and they couldn't get nobody up there to give him the award, so he had to have his kids do it. All right, yeah, let's get into this Joe Exotic story, because I thought about doing the Chrisleys, but I was like, you know what, I can mash this all up together, because Joe Exotic has been out here begging for Trump to pardon him, especially because he went, his husband, who he married, a little cute Mexican child that he went and married in prison, was released. I think they said a couple of months ago, but it came out 2 weeks ago that he apparently was deported. I'm like, why did that story take so long to get out here? Because it was like February they said he was released, which kind of confused me. I'm like, so why are we talking about it in May? Make that make sense? But that was the way it came out. It is what it is. So Joe Exotic's husband was deported back to Mexico. Joe Exotic been begging Trump to get him out of prison, but he decides to set free that old Queen Todd and his bed of a wife. And the MAGA daughter, I saw, was all over social media just ecstatic that, that closet case she called her daddy, and her sad, sad, decrepit, depraved, brainwashed mother is about to get out of jail too. But I think she got more years than him, if I'm not mistaken. So Joe Exotic said the following. He said, I guess being innocent is not enough in America. Hold on, let me actually show y'all the what he said, because we can see it right here. He said, I guess being innocent is not enough in America. They all admitted to perjury on world TV, but yet I'm left to die of cancer before I can get any help. Why is it the entire world can see the evidence, but the White House refused to acknowledge that they did this to me, knowing that they're lying? Well, maybe because Mr. Maldonado, since y'all didn't know, yes, Joe Exotic's last name is Maldonado. Sir, you are of Latin descent. I don't know why y'all keep running behind Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I don't know why y'all do that and then expect Donald Trump to come out and save y'all. Cracker's always gonna cracker. I know it's hard for y'all to let that sink in, but Cracker's always gonna cracker. They all stick together. So he gonna pardon, Mr. and Mrs. White veneers in their mouth, because them teeth ain't real. Them teeth is not theirs. Hold on, let's go back to their teeth. Y'all know damn well ain't they natural damn teeth that they got in their mouth. But anyway, so yeah, they're not gonna what you thought you was exempt? I don't know, they trying to get rid of all of your kind, sir. But yeah, he has prostate cancer, apparently. So it says Maldonado was notoriously arrested in 2018 for paying two hitmen, one of whom was an undercover FBI agent, $3,000 and $10,000 to murder his nemesis, big cat rescue founder Carol Baskin. The former roadside zoo owner was also convicted of 8 violations of the Lacey Act by falsifying wildlife records and 9 violations of the Endangered Species Act by killing 5 tigers and selling tigers across state lines. Now you know damn well the animal cruelty people gonna be up in that behind like, don't let him out of jail. Now, despite this, Joe has repeatedly stressed that he did not hurt anyone. Yeah, but you hurt them animals, though, allegedly. He said he didn't pay anyone and had no plans to hurt anyone. But if you were going to pay somebody $3,000 and $10,000 individually, 2 different people, one person $3K, the other person $10K, where did they come up with it? They just pulled them numbers out they behind? Like, just admit what you did. Maldonado continues to claim the case was riddled with entrapment, coerced testimonies, perjury confessions, and collusion between federal agencies. The Change.org petition to free Joe Exotic currently has over 25,000 signatures. Meanwhile, them tight-ass Chrisleys could be coming home tonight or tomorrow after the 78-year-old POTUS, he looked older than that, yeah, issued the couple a pardon way ahead of their scheduled release from prison in 2035 and 2030. This shit is ridiculous. Number one, why are we wasting pardons on this mess? Like, I just feel like at the end of the day, this man don't know what he's doing as a president. He has literally put America up for sale while we have all these different robber barons from all over the world, including Saudi Arabia, coming in, and he's doing private parties and stuff in Mar-a-Lago while he's basically selling our country to these people, a piece of our country to all these different people, and nobody's talking about this. This is the thing that irritates me, is the fact that our mainstream media is not calling this mess out. It's a couple of independent media people who are talking about it. Not enough of you, but there's a couple of independent media people that are talking about this. The legacy media, all they sometimes I be at work and they have the regular news on, and I'm like, this is the crap y'all are talking about. Like, y'all are so indoctrinated with the BS. Like, my head be hurting with all the BS and the stupidity and the lies that they be spewing on these network channels. And it's like y'all are so scared of him because y'all worried about him suing you. But I think I also, hold on, I have a picture of Joe Exotic's new man. So yeah, that's the husband there. I know it's like real small. Apparently, I don't know why I can't expand my photos anymore. So they also said that Julie is serving her 7-year sentence at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky for the same charges as well as wire fraud and obstruction of justice. So yeah, Todd born Michael is serving a 12-year sentence. Oh, so he had more to her. I'm sorry. I said she had more. No, he has 12 years. She has 7. And he's at the federal prison camp in Pensacola, Florida for tax evasion, 2008 to 2019, after being found guilty of defrauding community banks out of more than 30 million of loans. Well, look, of course, Trump going, I always say crack is going to crack it, but you know what? If it's got something to do with a white collar crime, tax evasion, and all this other mess, Trump ain't going to pay. If Trump not going to pay his taxes, you really think he was like, of course, birds of a feather. So that, of course, he's going to save them. Now, during the 3-week trial, it was revealed that the 56-year-old grandfather of two's alleged ex-lover and not ex-lover and business partner, Mark Braddock, who was granted immunity, was they said alleged child. You cannot sit up in there and tell me that Todd Chrisley don't be fucking dudes. That man opened his mouth and 5 designer purses will fall out. I've seen a Louis Vuitton, I've seen an Hermes, and I've probably seen a couple of, Prada bags fall out that man's mouth. That man is gayer than freaking Ross Matthews and that queen over there on, oh my God, what's that show? Gary with the T. Gary with the T and freaking Ross Matthews combined. He is gayer than them both. And y'all gonna sit up here and tell me, and there ain't no damn alleged. That man's a former man. We're not gonna sit up here and him be like his flame burn brighter than Emmett Honeycutt's over at Queer's Folk. And y'all gonna sit up here and talk about, oh, but he married. Okay. If y'all want to live in y'all little land of Delulu, we'll go with it. Okay. Give Grandpa his meds. So yeah, Joe Exotic also posted this. He said, Donald Trump, please restore freedom for Joe Exotic so he can go back to doing good in the world. Joe Exotic did not hurt anyone. Joe Exotic did not pay anyone. Joe Exotic had no plans to hurt anyone. Joe Exotic has suffered 7 years behind bars, being isolated, abused, and treated in ways no American should ever endure. Joe Exotic has no prior criminal record and is not a danger to society. Collusion between federal agencies and their so-called informants, who are known felons and fraudsters themselves, conspired an entrapment scheme to put Joe in prison. Informants have since confessed to perjury before and during the criminal trial. The facts of corruption in this case must not be ignored. Entrapment and coerced testimonies are what caused a 21-year-old disproportionate sentence. Joe's health has taken a horrifying turn during his imprisonment. He is battling advanced cancer, and it's crucial he receives better nutrition and medical care. Although Joe is primarily known for providing entertainment, he is also a philanthropist. Operation Smile, Innocent Project, and Make-A-Wish Foundation are just a few of the nonprofit organizations that Joe Exotic was involved with for many years. So, that's cute or whatever that you want to put out your little resume and all that other stuff. And the MAGA daughter basically said, Savannah, she basically told IG, she said, we putting clothes together for mom and dad and get their room put together upstairs. They're coming home. My parents get to start their lives over. President Trump didn't just commute their sentences. He gave them a full unconditional pardon. And here's the thing. Let's not also forget that Trump has pardoned how many people? Didn't he pardon them insurrectionists over there for January 6th? And we heard a couple of them have not only died or committed crimes post the pardon. So I guess they thought that the pardon, once it happened, that it's just immunity, full on immunity. Like, you're not gonna go back to jail if you commit another crime. And it's like, no, the pardon is for that specific situation. So yes, Chrisleys, celebrate that y'all getting out of prison for your little white collar crimes, because you get a little pat on the back because, like I said, crackers always gonna crack them at the end of the day. But just know this: if you go back to doing the stunts and shows, because you definitely are a stunt queen, Todd, and I have a strong feeling that you will go back to doing the same stuff over and over again, because I don't think you've learned your lesson. I think a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, whenever Trump pardons people, they don't learn their lesson. I mean, we've heard this, like I said before, we heard the stories about how a couple of the insurrectionists that were released either died due to a certain circumstance, because I'm thinking that's some old Final Destination shit that was going on with that, or they unalive someone. There was like one that got out of that was pardoned that I think killed a woman in a drunk driving accident. So, there's I can't. Like, my brain hurts even trying to just decipher this foolishness, because it's just like, I can't wait till this administration is done, and we get a party that wakes the hell up and takes these people to task, because the fact that they are just destroying this democracy and just the stupidest things that people are coming up with. And y'all thinking, oh yeah, y'all owning the libs. But I'm like, you're going to be affected too. So owning libs, okay, get your jollies off, get your nut off. But y'all do know all these things that they're dismantling is going to affect y'all in red states more so than anything. And the blue states are always the one that tries to cover y'all getting the stuff that y'all get. So, and we'll also see this now with them getting out of jail. Do y'all think that the USA network will even fix their mouth, or even Peacock? Because they did have a spinoff on Peacock at one point. That y'all think that they'll be given a new reality show because they'll be like post prison and they want to see how they live their life and if they pull themselves back together. Like, I do feel like I would not be surprised if in this current climate that we're in, that they will be celebrated and rewarded with a damn reality show. Well, I know what Chris won't be doing. And that's watching anything that comes from the damn Chrisleys. I never particularly cared for them when they were pre-prison. So you already know post-prison, I could give a good goddamn what they come out with. So Jorge is the husband of Joe Exotic, and he's 29 years younger than Joe Exotic. And they got married in April. So yeah, that couldn't have made sense that they said that it was released in February. So it's like, yeah, they got married in April, and I think he was released last month or something or another. But yeah, so now in case y'all care, Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness held the #1 spot on Netflix for top 10 most streamed list for 25 days straight in March through April 2020, amassing over 34 million views. And so yeah, there's that. So that's all I got to say on this whole situation. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of Joe Exotic being tight that he got to rot in prison with cancer while the Chrisleys get to walk free? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Ty Chrisley's mother and his daughter both are MAGA, and his mother paid $1 million to. I would not be supposed to say it. And it's funny how it always resorts to Trump is a whore. It's funny, like, who's the bigger whore, him or Melania? But it seems like it's him because while she's the mail order whore and did what she had to do to get in the country, good job, niece. But you got to suffer with the mess you with. He's a big whore. He's selling himself to the highest bidder. Anybody that's got a little money that's going to pay for a plate or whatever at the White House or whatever, give him a little coin or whatever, he is easily bought. And it's kind of pathetic. And it's funny how I don't even give a good goddamn about the people in the Trump cult because y'all are so deep in that cult. Y'all have drunk so much of that Jim Jones Kool-Aid. There's no coming back from that. So I could give a good goddamn what y'all think. And that's why I think like that, any politician, whatever, y'all need to focus on those who were in the middle, the ones that stayed home, the ones who didn't want to go out and vote and support because they feel like both parties have let them down. That's what y'all need to focus on, getting the independents back, getting the Democrats back on board. That's why I'm loving so far that in New York, we got Zoran Mamdani neck and neck, or basically clicking at Cuomo's heels, because we don't want Cuomo to be mayor. My sister was just talking to me about, I'm gonna vote for Cuomo because I don't know these other people. I was like, what? That is not a reason why you vote for somebody. So I literally showed her a Zoran Mamdani video. You know me, I'm real clever with my stuff. So I showed her a video of him. And I was like, yeah, because the media is not supporting him. I get a lot of Zoran video clips now that, like on the commercials and stuff. And I feel like that he really is out here walking the wall. I'm glad that he's got a team of people that's been working the beats in Brooklyn and knocking on doors and getting people interested in knowing who this kid is, even though the media has been playing up this whole thing about Cuomo, because we already know what it gives when you do liberal media and the type of spin that they want to do, where they have certain people that they want to support. And especially when we had Cuomo, and I'm already pissed off at Letitia James. Normally I'm with her, but when her black ass had the nerve to show up at that Israel Day parade, knowing the Zionism that come with that, she pissed me off with that. So I was like, oh no, sis, you lost points for me. But that's what I'm really voting for, because I feel like if he gets in office, we definitely need to change. Like, New York City is out of control. I remember I saw an Instagram video too of this Asian kid talking about how he used to work on the Upper East Side and the bad experiences that he had working with celebrities, and people shouldn't put celebrities on a pedestal. It was a good story time, but he fucked up big time the minute he went and said, and this was my old neighborhood. He said that I used to live in I live in 148th in Harlem, and I was talking to this couple, and and he said, oh, it's up and coming, and y'all should try to look out there, go out there. And then they laughed at him, was like, oh no, we looking for a apartment with a doorman and all this other stuff. And they dragged, that child, because of what he said. The minute he said 148th and Broadway is up and coming, I was like, okay, now you're not even from New York. And these are the people that we don't like that come out to Manhattan, New York, whatever. It's you gentrifiers that come out here and, oh, it's up and coming. Oh, now it's cleaned up. And it's, they rolled out the red carpet for y'all. And now that the neighborhood looks good, then a lot of y'all who be scared to be up in the hood. See, I grew up in the hood, so I can move anywhere and I still walk through a neighborhood and ain't got nothing to worry about. But a lot of y'all gentrifiers come up in certain areas and you like, oh yeah, it's nice, it's safe, and fuck out of here with all that. Because then y'all start pissing me off because it's like, this is the reason why our rent be going up. This is the reason why everything is so damn expensive and stuff in a lot of areas, because y'all come in certain areas once it's all nice and clean for y'all and y'all want to move in, and then all of a sudden they think, oh yeah, so let's jack the rent up to $3,000. So yeah, it's about time we get somebody new to come up in New York, because yeah, the rent is too damn high. Everything is out of control. Groceries is crazy. We need rent stabilization. And nobody wants to be out here paying $3,000 for a 1 bedroom. Like, that's crazy. And then the rent goes up every year. Excuse me, like, for what? Especially when I'm paying for the same damn service. He's taking a pardon of the people that threaten to unallow Gretchen. Oh yeah, I saw that Gretchen Whitmer story. I just rolled my eyes at that mess. But you know what? When all this dust settles and when he's finally out of office, I cannot wait until, I really hope the next president really goes in on him. Like, don't sit up here, oh yeah, we don't want to look like Obama and them said that. We don't want to look at the past. We don't look back. No, you need to, because that's what he's doing. He's being Petty LaBelle. This is his revenge tour. Like, he's going and dismantling everything that y'all put in place because he's mad at y'all. The whole Harvard thing, some people say, the rumor is they're going after, he's going after Harvard because they won't bend the knee to him like everybody else did, and also because his son couldn't get into Harvard, so they're going after him. And then also they said because Obama was a Harvard graduate, and so is, I don't know which daughter or both, Sasha or Malia went to Harvard. So yeah, there's that. Mm-hmm. Yes, he should, because I'm like, I don't want to come. I hated him as a governor. First of all, he did a horrible job, and I hope somebody reminds him of that whole situation that happened with the old people in the nursing home, because that was under Cuomo's watch, and the assault allegations. Throw that shit in his face too. I was in the backyard with my cats. Oh, I be doing the same thing. Like yesterday, I was spending a lot of time with my dogs and stuff. Well, look, I opened the show talking about your girl Janet Jackson. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, we gotta get some serious news. So let's talk about this stunt performer who's suing Kevin Costner. First of all, I didn't even know they made a Horizon 2, because I heard Horizon 1 did so bad that they scrapped the whole situation. Or maybe they was in the throes of, they shot the movie, but then they saw how bad the movie did, and they were just like, we good. We're not, this movie's never gonna come out. So according to the reports, Kevin Costner and his Horizon American Saga franchise, as y'all know, was already facing legal action from New Line over a co-financing deal. And now the star director of the Western series has been hit with a sexual harassment suit by a veteran stunt woman over an unscheduled, unrehearsed, violent, unscripted, great scene. And this is like, I feel, in a way, I kind of feel for Kevin Costner, but not really, because he pulled the handle for Lopez and Francis Ford Coppola with Megaflopolis. He put a lot of his own money behind this movie. Like, this was his passion project, and it flopped big time. Nobody went to the movies to see it. Like, it was so bad, they dumped it on, like, I think it was on HBO Max, whatever the case was, and I just didn't even care to watch. I was like, I don't want to watch no 3-hour Western. I know when I saw it in the theater, like the commercial, the trailer, the coming attraction, whatever the hell. I think it's all the things I just said. When I saw the coming attraction in the theaters, it was given like old Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Loan from Dove Teeth. Like, I get like you like all this grand scale of Western and all this other stuff, but you should have probably taken a page out of Taylor Sheridan's handbook and maybe just did it as something very much like on Paramount Plus or something or another, like a TV show or miniseries. Like, people are not flocking to the theater in 2024 when I think this movie came out to see a Western. They're not. So stuff like that kind of works on streaming. The old way that we used to watch movies have, the way we consume films have changed so much. It's like, yeah, nobody's, especially the demographic that you was making this movie for. Older people are not really going to the movies like that. So Devin LaBella was the lead stunt double for Ella Hunt, who played the role of Juliet in the Horizon films. According to LaBella's lawsuit, Costner, the director, improvised a scene to which Hunt's character would be raped. Now, Hunt refused to perform the scene, the lawsuit states. Labella was brought in as a stand-in without advance warning, preparation, or consent, and without an intimacy coordinator present, the suit alleges. According to the complaint, the male actor was directed to mount her, pin her down, and violently rake up her skirt. The set was not closed, the suit states. According to the complaint, Labella was humiliated and traumatized by the experience, saying, quote, on the day I was left exposed, unprotected, and deeply betrayed by a system that promised safety and professionalism. This is what she said in a statement. What happened to me shattered and trust, what happened to me shattered my trust and forever changed how I move through this industry. The suit alleges that the scene violated protocols negotiated by SAG-AFTRA, including a requirement for 48 hours notice and consent for any scenes involving nudity or simulated sex. So I could totally understand. It's like, yeah, you're talking about, yeah, you should have prepared for that scene, because it does take a while for somebody to even get their mental to prepare. Like, you have to mentally prepare to do those sequences, just like you got to mentally prepare to do an action sequence, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. There's preparation that's got to go into, okay, I have to simulate fake sex, or simulate a sex. Simulating is faking. You have to simulate a sex act on camera. I have to be violently raped. So yeah, that is something that should have been worked out. If he didn't do it, uh, Kevin, you in danger, girl. They said the incident took place on May 2nd, 2023 on the set in Utah. Labella also performed in a scripted grape scene the previous day, which was handled professionally. The suit alleges in that scene, there were rehearsals, the intimacy coordinator was present, and the set was closed. The case is a clear example of male-dominated sexist Hollywood movie production. This is what Kate McFarlane, one of the plaintiff's attorneys, had to say, saying our client was subjected to brutal sexual conduct completely unprotected from the obvious harm. Costner denied the allegations through his attorney, Marty Singer. In a statement, Singer said that Costner always wants to make sure that everyone is comfortable working on his films and takes safety on set very seriously. However, the claim by Devin Labella has absolutely no merit and is completely contradicted by her own actions and the facts. Miss Labella is a serial accuser of people in the entertainment industry and has worked with the same lawyer on past claims, but those shakedown tactics won't work in this case. Now, according to Singer, the scene was explained to Labella, and after a rehearsal, she gave a thumbs up to her stunt coordinator, indicating her willingness to film the scene if needed, which she was not. That evening, according to Singer, Labella had dinner with the stunt coordinators and was in good spirits and made no complaints to them. Labella's lawsuit contradicts the version of events, saying she wanted to find out why the scene was allowed to take place. Upon expressing her outrage and concern, the male attendees blamed her for not speaking up, the suit alleges. She now felt completely alone and disappointed, but as production was not yet wrapped, Miss Labella had to continue working and keep up with the professional attitude. Over the next few days, according to her suit, she experienced bouts of crying. She also felt awkward as crew members came up to her to apologize for Costner's behavior. The suit states she later went into therapy to deal with the after effects of the traumatic experience. Here's the thing. Is it really a traumatic experience when you're simulating a act? It's not like you were actually being raped. It's pretend. Are you... I don't want to discount. I don't want people to think like I'm discounting someone's feelings or whatever, but I just feel like sometimes the questions have to be asked. Like, it's just weird to me how you're sitting like, oh, you had to deal with emotional distress and you had to go to therapy and all that other stuff. I mean, was there a way that Kevin Costner, was he disrespectful to you? Was he cursing out? Was he screaming or whatever because you weren't doing what needed to be done correctly and you went along with it and you were just like traumatized by the whole situation? Like, I'm just confused how you could file a lawsuit because you weren't informed when you felt that you weren't informed earlier enough about an assault scene. And you're saying that you were traumatized by it, simulating a fake grape scene on camera. Like, it's not like they even know it's you. You're a stunt woman where you're standing in for the other actress whose character is being assaulted. And the actor's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. So you got to put in the stunt double, which they do all the time. They put stunt doubles in for, body doubles, whatever the case is, if it's nudity that they're not agreeing with doing. So you have a double that comes in and doubles for them. So I'm just hella confused by this whole situation. And I'm sure there's probably people out there that are way more knowledgeable about this type of situation than I am. So, but then to finish this up, they said James Vanini, another of the plaintiff's attorneys, said the suit is intended to address failures at the highest levels of Hollywood production companies to comprehend and address the impacts of performing in sexually explicit and violent scenes and the need of intimacy coordination. And it's funny because I remember hearing stories about, I think it was Michael Douglas when him and Glenn Close, I don't know if it was him or it was her. It's probably the both of them. But they were talking about when they filmed Fatal Attraction, they were like, intimacy codes. Like, we didn't do that. We kind of just went through it and did what we did. You know, we just kind of just felt it out and just did what worked for the scene. So I know, like, some people be like, "Oh yeah, it was so old school back in the day." It's kind of like you just went through the situation, you worked with whatever you had to work with. Now, yeah, it's all about intimacy coaches, and you got to have this one, and everybody's feeling away, and you got to have a little therapist, pat them on the head. There. How do you feel in this whole situation before we shoot this thing? Like, let me acknowledge your feelings. Like, it just feels like it's a lot of that before we get. It's a goddamn scene that you're doing. It's like acting. Just get in there and do the thing. Psych yourself up, prep yourself to get ready to do this crazy scene that you're about to do, which is all about choreography. That's what basically, yes, even if they do a great scene, whatever the case is, an intimacy, a sex scene, whatever you want to call it, a sex scene or a great scene, it's choreographed. You have someone who's an intimacy coach telling you how to move, move your head here and do this and put your hand there and lift your leg up on this part while he mounts you and all that stuff. Now, in Costner's defense, because I should show his side as well, Singer produced a text message that LaBella allegedly sent to the stunt coordinator upon completing the shoot, saying, "Thank you for these wonderful weeks. I so appreciate you. I learned so much, and thank you again. I'm really happy it worked out the way it did, too." I think they forgot to put another O because they put TO instead of TOO. Have a great rest of the shoot and let's talk soon. Now, according to the complaint, LaBella was not hired back for Horizon 3 and has not been hired or on any of the coordinators of the projects, though she worked with him regularly beforehand. So there was probably like, okay, so now this broad is out here complaining. We don't want to work with her no more. So that's probably why she lost out on work. And now they're probably going to say that this is some old type sour grapes type situation. That it's like, oh, because we kind of just ghosted her and then we didn't invite her to come back to do any more type of work. So they'll probably say that's why she's suing because she got sour grapes. But in the meantime, I will definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, but I definitely want to hear from you. What do you guys think of this story regarding this film? I mean, this might be the most exciting news to come out of Horizon and might get people to actually want to watch it because of all the stuff that's going around. But then again, it didn't work for Russ with Alec Baldwin. Like all that stuff surrounding him, that movie came and went like a damn wet fart. I think Russ is actually on Prime, available to rent on buy on Prime Video because I don't know if anybody actually went to the movies to see it. So with all that controversy, if that controversy didn't work around that damn movie, I don't even think it's gonna work with Horizon, but we'll see. So let me know if the part 2 comes out because like I said, nobody saw part 1. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I'ma laugh like that, like when that white girl read that teleprompter next to Shabuzi, talking about the car that's practically invented country. Okay, anyway. Kevin was also accused of begging his masseuse for happy endings, so this child. Mm, I forgot about that. I think Michael Douglas had to go through sex addiction he probably did. But shout out to Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas looked good at his age. And, they always be talking about old people are not as sharp. That man is sharp as a whip. So everybody ain't like Donald Trump and Joe Biden, where y'all pretty much y'all brain cells are seeping through your asshole as we speak. But no, to answer your question, Ron, I don't get nothing straight from no damn Todd Chrisley. I don't know if you ever. Of course, I've seen I Spit on Your Grave. I've actually heard someone say, and this has got me wanting to revisit it. I think I was watching. Damn, I forgot the Drum Dum. Shout out to Lee. does a podcast with two other guys, and they like to talk horror and all this other stuff. And they was recently talking about I Spit on Your Grave, and they was talking about that the remake is actually better than the original. And I remember the original. It feels very like, well, Wes Craven is the director. It feels very much like now you got me googling because now I'm like, wait a minute, did Wes Craven direct I Spit on Your Grave? I like to make sure that I got my stuff correct. But there was somebody, yeah, who directed that damn movie? Wikipedia, somebody tell me. Oh no, he directed The Last House on the Left, which I like that movie too. But I Spit in Your Grave, I actually like that film. But yeah, I remember they were talking about it on their podcast, and they were saying that oh wait, it wasn't I Spit in Your Grave. It was Last House on the Left. That's what it was. They said that the remake was better than the original. I'm like, I don't know. I think I gotta watch that one, but no. I think it was also either one because I Spit in Your Grave. There was like a brutal grape scene, and then she got the revenge, right? Oh yeah, so it was that one. I don't know why I'm getting both. I think because both have similar themes. But I Spit on Your Grave, yeah, they were saying that the remake is better than the original. I have to rewatch that film, but when I saw the old one, I was like, it's probably because of the way it looks. It kind of had like that whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre realism type vibe to it. So, um, I'm gonna have to rewatch the film. I'm gonna fast forward through the stuff. I don't like watching essays on camera. I don't like that makes me uncomfortable. So I fast forward through a lot of that. But for the most part, it's like the killing part. I'm like, okay, I'll sit through that. But no, I don't like watching somebody being raped and then left for dead. Probably because it's too. But it was extremely traumatizing to watch, and I could only imagine what the actors went through. I actually cried watching. Yeah, that movie is it's heavy to deal with that. But yes, I did see that movie, the original and the remake. But I haven't seen it in so long. I just watched the first time, and it made me so happy to hear you talk about Janet and not read. Well, look, I could be what's they say apodextrous. Like I sometimes look when good stuff come out about somebody, I can talk about them. When it's time to read, I'm gonna read. But yeah, when I said I think I was look at you putting in quotes. I think I was wrong about it because I was like, look, she need to stick to the rivers and the lakes. But apparently, y'all like when she sticks to the rivers and the lakes. Or I said she should switch it up and do something different. But y'all like when Janet gives y'all the same old stuff. She don't change. What was disturbing? I Spit on Your Grave or my critique of Janet? I know what you're doing. You talking about I Spit on Your Grave. But yeah, it was like, yeah, I guess because look, I was sitting there giving for Lopez business advice. And look, she went with it. She doing Vegas residency. I tried to give Katy Perry advice, but I feel like she screwed us up so damn much. Vegas don't even want her ass out there no more. They lost so much money on her. So I don't know what she could do at this point. And Janet Jackson, I'm just like, okay, so people like what she just gives. She doesn't change up the formula. So if that's what the fans want her to continue to just give them the hits, and she hits her 8 count and cat or down, do all of that, then let's give it to her. Yeah, it is. It's not something that's like something you really got to get in the mood to watch. And I don't know how you get in the mood to watch a movie about sexual assault. So I don't think that's what that is. But I mean, I don't know how people can get themselves caught up in that. Now, speaking of grape, let's get into this story. So apparently, Andrew Tate's been charged with grape. I'm a poet and I know it. But not only just Andrew, his brother Tristan too. So is that why that Trump decided to bring them both into the United States? Are they even still here? I don't even know if they are. So yeah, British prosecutors have greenlit a sweeping set of criminal charges against controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan, making the first official confirmation of the extent of allegations against the duo in their home country. Yeah, because they be throwing me off. Sometimes they be talking, I'm like, why are you, when they be saying little and they be going little, I'm like, But y'all be talking like regular, like how I'm talking. And then I be hearing like them little British looks up in there. And I'm like, are y'all trying to give me Dorit with the accent, or is that how y'all really talk? But I think they are bi-coastal, so that's why the accent kind of slips in and out. The Crown Prosecution Service, aka CPS, revealed on Tuesday that it has authorized 21 charges against the brothers, including rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking, according to BBC News. The charging decision preceded an extradition warrant issued in 2024 aimed at bringing the pair back from Romania, where they currently face separate legal proceedings. Andrew Tate, the former kickboxer turned social media personality, faces 10 charges connected to 3 alleged victims. The charges span rape, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. And funnily enough, these two are idiots because, well, hold on. I said these two are idiots because I believe Andrew openly admitted like what he was doing to women in a stream. So it's like you out here openly admitting your crimes, thinking that you're not gonna pay for them, or that somebody's gonna catch you out there and charge you with some stuff. Now his younger brother Tristan faces 11 charges tied to one alleged victim, including rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking. The brothers, who hold dual U.S. UK nationality, have denied the Romanian charges and are currently under investigation there. The CPS indicated that the domestic criminal matters in Romania must be settled first before any UK proceedings can move forward. Well, if they allegedly are hiding out in the US, how they going to face the crimes over there in Romania when you have a certain wide-back orange bastard interfering? The prosecution's charging decision follows a review of evidence compiled by Bedfordshire police regarding allegations made within the UK. The development adds another layer of legal jeopardy of the Tate brothers, who have become lightning rods for controversy over their online content and lifestyle brand. Andrew Tate first wrote a public consciousness as a guest on the UK's Big Brother reality show in 2016, where he was criticized for homophobic and racist comments made on Twitter. And he got some black up in him. And you were listening, because there's no way in hell I'm looking at him and I see white boy. Y'all got some mixture going on up in y'all, but you making racist comments. But I wonder specifically which race was he being racist towards? So yeah, they made the racist comments on Twitter. Now, he was eventually removed from the show after a video surfaced in which he appeared to be hitting a woman with a belt. Tate and the woman claimed their actions were consensual. He has since built a following online peddling advice on masculinity and money. Child, I cannot. See, this is why this is y'all fault because, well, I don't know if probably what's happening in the U.S. See, now, if the Democrats wasn't so shitty towards the damn Bernie bros, they wouldn't have went over there and decided to become these misogynistic, left outside alone pricks that they become. But y'all want to keep y'all want to keep your little centrist bottom line alive, and look at you. Look where y'all at now, flannel like a dead fish out of water. He was banned from Twitter in May of 2017 before being reinstated, of course, by Elon Musk after he purchased the social media platform. So, of course, we shouldn't be surprised by all of this. And I'm not surprised by it. Well, I am kind of surprised by these allegations or that these charges are coming forth, especially in the current climate that we're in. But we'll see if they're able to pay for their crimes as long as they don't have a certain somebody trying to interfere in other people's affairs. I wish they would just worry about what's going on in the United States instead of trying to meddle in other people's stuff and continuously trying to pardon the worst of the worst. But when you're just as worse, why should we be surprised? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this latest news surrounding Andrew Tate and his even messier of a brother? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Okay, so now let's get into this Nicki Minaj story. So Nicki Minaj just recently did an interview with Vogue Italia. And, she's been real quiet right now because, we talked earlier about how successful her, what was it, the Pink Friday 2 tour was and all other stuff. And she's kind of just taking a low profile. I do wonder when I work Lil Wayne's show at the Garden next week, I think next Friday, if she's going to make an appearance. I am definitely curious to see if, she's going to pop up on stage and do a little yang, get up there with him and do a little collab. That would be hot, whatever. But anyway. So yeah, now she did she's on the cover of Vogue Italia, which comes out, oh, it came out yesterday, so it was May 27th. And she was talking about a lot of stuff. She said a couple of times she thought about quitting the industry because of, the backlash and a lot of the people online and, coming for her. And then there was just a lot of things where she had to sacrifice a lot so that way she could have the career that she wanted, even coming down to the point I'm talking about that she had to sacrifice being a mother until later on in life because, she was out here trying to make that money and become, the artist that she is today. So the rap heavyweight confirmed she's holding off on dropping Pink Friday 3, her sixth album, um, because she wanted to carry weight, not just fill space. She said, quote, I have a lot of really strong songs, she said in a Vogue Italia cover story, but I don't want to rush. I want the album to mean something for the fans and for me. I will never be one of those people who releases songs just for the sake of it. I love music. I respect it. While the album's timeline is still fluid, the Queen's native made it clear she's eager to hit the stage again, saying, quote, relive everything as soon as possible for me and for the Barb, she added, hinting a return to touring. Now, Minaj's latest project, Pink Friday 2, dropped on December 8th, 2023, and debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. The album made her the first female rapper to earn 3 #1 albums in the U.S. It featured 5 singles, including Super Freaky Girl, which became her first solo #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was certified double platinum in May of 2023. So it's like, yeah, when you go pop, sis, that's when the girls be coming out and paying attention. Because I remember at one point he was like, well, I'm going to retire Starships. I was like, oh, don't you do that. Because the minute she got up on there, and I worked her shows. So the minute she performed Starships, oh, the gays was they lost their shit in the girls. And one of the things that I find annoying is a lot of the fans that y'all don't be going there for the artists. I don't understand how y'all be spending all this money to go see these celebrities, but y'all spend more time doing damn selfies or recording yourselves performing to the songs. It's like, don't nobody want to see y'all up here with your little ring light and your little special gadgets and stuff with your little cell phone on yourself while you going and rapping her lyrics. It's like, watch the show, enjoy the show. You're not even enjoying it. You're not even being in the moment. So I always find that to be annoying with a lot of the fans. But I'm like, look, y'all the ones out here spending all that damn money. I get paid to work these shows. So I'm saving coins. Y'all wasting coins. So in a way, I'm actually glad that she said this because when she was like, she doesn't want to rush the music. She wants it to carry weight because I did feel like a lot of times when she was releasing songs that she would just kind of put it out there for the sake of putting it out there. And I don't feel like a lot of the songs that she had put out as of late outside of Super Freaky Girl was really carrying weight. So I really hope that when this new album comes out, and I'll listen to it, of course, that the songs actually have some substance, that she really is hungry, that she really wants to remind people why she is one of, and I'd say what you want about Nicki, but nobody can throw shade at her pen game. The girl can write, the girl can rap, and the versatility and everything is there with a lot of the things. And one of the things I always loved about Nicki that stood out, I like the little characters and the different personalities she took on, like Roman and all these other people. So I like when she would play all these different characters. She would go into the British accent, she would go into these different things. So I was like, yeah, I like when you kind of take on these different things because we've seen other rappers do that. And seeing a female rapper, because didn't she go to Juilliard? Or she went to some prestigious, school, or did she go to the Fame school? Like I know, like Nicki went to one of those prestigious schools, and so when you got that theater background, it's like you incorporate that into the personality and the character that you are coming up with when you're performing and stuff. So I'm here for it. Now, I think it also goes on because it was like there's more photos where they talk about that how she paid for the price of fame. And now, but behind the accolades, it says that Nicki reflected on the personal course of her career. She said, as a woman, I put off becoming a mother. A lot of women in the industry, especially older than me, haven't had children. Some don't regret it, but others do. I put it off. And then I didn't go to every Thanksgiving, Christmas, or birthday party because I had to work to support my family. I think the price was not having a normal life. Now that she's a mom to her son, affectionately known as Papa Bear, her priorities have shifted. She said, quote, today things are different because I can give my son what I couldn't have. But there are things I would like to ensure for him and that I have to figure out how to give him. When we go out, for example, I have to worry about someone taking pictures of him. So every day I have to decide, is it more important to go for a walk with my son or to avoid him being photographed? And That's the sad part of the price thing. Because it's like, yeah, you want your kid to experience. I want to go to the park. I want to go play, and I want to do things with him and stuff. But I can't take him out because the paparazzi is going to snap his photo. And we really haven't seen Papa Bear unless she posts photos of him online or a video or whatever the case is. But yeah, we don't see Nicki out and about with her child like you see other celebrities out with their children. And it's like, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of times maybe these A-list celebrities are a prisoner of their own success. And so, you know, and then also, yeah, there's that thing of like sacrificing a lot for that celebrity and that fame and to be able to have the big career that you have. So it's like, yeah, you're going to miss out on Thanksgiving. You're going to miss out on Christmas. You're going to miss out on your birthday or birthday parties. Like, look, Kylie Minogue is on tour. She celebrated her birthday on stage and they had the whole O2 Arena saying happy birthday to her yesterday. So that video and stuff was all online. So yeah, there's that. It's like, even on your own birthday, you got to work. Or you got to miss certain people's birthdays. But I also want to give a shout out to Chris Evans because he was supposed to go to Cannes Film Festival and promote a movie he was in. And he was like, he didn't go because he went and stayed back in the United States to celebrate his mother's 70th birthday. He said there's certain things you can't get back. And so he wasn't missing out on his mother's 70th birthday. My mother turned 70 in January. So that's definitely like something I would never want to miss out on. That's a milestone when if you can get get to that decade point. So I'm just glad that she's at a place in her life where she's speaking out and what's more important to her. And and I'll tell you, when you get to your 40s, that's when you start to wake up and realize like what are the most important things. And it's not always about the fame and the glamour. Yeah, that's cute and that's a plus, but you start to think about what, you're getting more of your priorities in order and you kind of are set and thinking about, this is what's more important to me. It's not always about the shiny new thing and the money. I mean, I like being an artist. I like touring. I like performing. I love the roar of the crowd and all that stuff. That's great. But also, I got to have time for me. I got to have time with my child. So who knows? We probably won't get new Nicki music until um 2026. I was like, what year are we in? You probably won't get new music until 2026, and that's fine. Child, quiet as it's kept. I think she'll probably release that new album before Cardi B release album number 2 because she keep trying to tease us with that mess. And at this point, I just feel no ways tired about like, girl, either you gonna release it or not. Like, I'm tired of you trying to stroke the ego, like constantly teasing your fans about the record. It's like either gonna release it at this point or no. Like, come on now. But before I wrap this up, let's talk about another female rapper, Miss Messy Ass Azealia Banks. So she decided to post this thing on social media because I did capture her tweet. So according to Pop Base, Vogue Italia asked Nicki about her current favorite artist. She said Sabrina Carpenter. I didn't know she had been around for so long when I started listening to her, a breath of fresh air. And it's like, yeah, not a lot of people even was aware of Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina was putting out a lot of mid-ass music, and that's because she was on the whole Disney situation. But it wasn't until she decided to take control of her career, and then she did the album that she came out with that she took, started doing the music she wanted to do. That's when she finally broke through the mold. Because other than that, she was releasing these mid-ass records, and it took album number 6 for her to get herself together. But then Azealia, of course, had to assert herself, and I don't know how this chick out here giving anybody advice on career stuff when, girl, when the last time you released music? So when you start releasing music and you out here banging out a bunch of hits, then you can tell somebody what they need to do with their music, or how to conjure a hit. But here's what she said. She said Nicki does not like Sabrina Carpenter. LOL. She is fishing for a collab, and that is honestly so embarrassing. You're fucking Nicki Minaj, sis. There's no way in hell you're gagging over Sabrina Carpenter. She is not Sasha Keeble. Shut up. Please give us a Gaga collab before you start begging to be acknowledged by these random little white chicks. Well, sis, what happened to your Gaga collab? Wasn't y'all supposed to come out with a song together at one point? And you sitting out here telling Nicki Minaj to go work with Lady Gaga? Although that would be a sickening collaboration, but I think the fans want a telephone part 2 before we even start thinking about a Nicki Minaj Lady Gaga collab. So yeah, it says release some music first before you start trying to get anybody kind of any musical advice or music advice. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards to what Nicki had to say, not only about motherhood, but why she is not releasing music at the moment? She said, I'm taking my sweet time releasing this new music before I go in and let have on the world and y'all start criticizing and stuff. I was trying to see if the Chrisleys had actually been let out yet. So let me know if you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, let's go to this. Pink Friday 3 is such a terrible title. I like Pink Friday. I think at this point, you want to know something, you right. And I don't know why I didn't say that in the video. But Nicki, I need you to stop being lazy. And I need you to start releasing or coming up with a new damn title on this album. Because every time I turn around, you keep coming out with Pink Friday this and Pink Friday that. It's like, girl, it's giving lazy. And so I need you to really come out and release, come up with a new title, please. Like, stop being lazy. Oh, speaking of which, child, I heard that what's that movie? And all that. We about to start. I heard the new Karate Kid is a mess. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit and wait till that come out on streaming or whatever. Cause yeah, they talk about that new I was gonna say new Cobra Kai movie. That new Karate Kid movie is not good at all. Which I'm not surprised by. Okay. Cecilia and Gaga collab Ratchet was scrapped an Art Pop Act 2 song. Because I know her husband is still going through court. Okay. And is. I vividly remember watching the music video for Sabrina's debut song when it first dropped on a website, Movie Star Planet, during her Disney days. Jesus. But I'm like, look, whether or not she is an actual Sabrina Carpenter fan or just pulled that out her ass because she want to sound cool, why does she care? Nicki knows that if she gets Sabrina Carpenter to sing the hook on a song of hers, that the barbers will probably get interested in Sabrina, and the Sabrina fans will probably come over and listen to the song because it's their girl. So it's about collaborating and branding and getting that hit on the radio. So especially when we're at a time when, radio is very ageist, especially towards women. So this is probably a business thing she's more or less thinking about. Look, if she said she likes Sabrina, we'll believe it, but you can side eye it too. Anyway, let's see how many more topics we got, y'all. All right, we got 4 more topics left before we get to the end of the show. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I will be putting timestamps in once the show is done, the live stream, so that way those who watch the playback can just go and watch the clips that they want to watch instead of having to sit through all the banter we do during the live stream. Okay, so now without further ado, let's get into this tea about the House of Villains. So the House of Villains have been revealed. I believe they start shooting this week. But we have the people that's going to be on the show. And yes, Tiffany Pollard, hopefully they're thinking like third time's a charm. She is back on the new season. So Joe McHale is set to return to host the 3rd season of the competition that brings together 11 reality all-stars who must scheme. I was going to say sheen. Scheme and shade each other to be crowned America's ultimate supervillain and take home $200,000 prize. The 3rd season of House of Villains is the first season on Peacock following its move from the E! Entertainment Network. I don't know why it was on E! First of all, I don't know where E! is. I told you I don't have cable. So House of Villains, I would wait until it popped up on Peacock to watch the first 2 seasons. And so it was smart for them to actually take this show, like The Traitors, and put it specifically on Peacock because the younger generation, me, the younger, millennials, younger Gen Z, we watch streaming. I don't know what the hell. I don't have cable. So yeah, that was the only way I was going to watch this show. But anyway, season 3 will have 10 episodes and begin production this week with an early 2026 release. Now, if y'all thought before they had a good cast, trust and believe, this cast that they got this season is going to be lit. So Tiffany New York Pollard will return for a 3rd season for another chance at a villainous victory. Joining her are stars like Vanderpump Rules alum Tom Sandoval, also featured in the most recent season of Peacock's The Traitors. Below Deck alum Kate Chastain, who I believe wasn't she also on Or am I bugging? Wasn't she also on the Traitors? Big Brother's Paul Abrahamian, Selling Sunset's Christine Quinn, and shall get ready for it because RuPaul's Drag Race's Plain Jane is going to be on the show as well. So I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting. And then they got one of the girls in the challenge. Last season, they had Wes Bergman up on there, and I like Wes. Now, other villains joining the house include survivors Tyson Apasol, Basketball Wives' Jackie Christie, Mob Wives Drita Davanzo, and Love Island USA alum Johnny Middlebrooks. Now, House of Villains Season 1 ended with Tanisha Thomas of Bad Girls Club taking home the ultimate prize after a tie vote, beating Johnny Bananas from the challenge. Amphisa, I ain't even going to try to say her last name, from 90 Day Fiance, Johnny Fairplay from Survivor Pearl Islands, and Sheikh Chatterjee from Love is Blind. Child, y'all with these names. But that's not the only thing. Now, season 2 basically ended like this, with another tie vote, with Love and Hip Hop Safari ultimately beating the challenge along Wes Bergman for the win after Big Brother vet Jesse Goddard's pulled a villainous move and went back on a handshake deal after making Bergman get on his knees and beg for his vote. Now, we don't need to go into who produces the show and stuff because I know y'all probably don't care. But the villains, as I said, in total, Paul Abrahamian from Big Brother, Tyson Apasol, who was a Survivor winner and appeared on the challenge. I don't know why I don't remember him. Kate Chastain from Below. Oh, yeah, she was on the Traitors. That's why I was like, wait a minute. She was a traitor on the Traitors. That's why I was like, I remember Kate was on there. Jackie Christie. Thank God she found something else to do besides Basketball Wives. And yes, she is on the current season of Basketball Wives. But seeing her do the House of Villains, okay, I'm like, that's cute. Drita Davanzo from Mob Wives, Plain Jane from RuPaul's Drag Race, Johnny Middlebrooks from Love Island and The Challenge, Ashley Mitchell from The Challenge, and she's a 2-time winner, by the way, Tiffany New York Pollard from Flavor of Love and I Love New York, and many other reality shows that she's been a part of, Christine Quinn, who was definitely a villain on Selling Sunset, because I remember her from that, and Tom Sandoval. Now, Tom being on the show, hopefully he'll be a lot more entertaining than he was on The Traitors, because he kind of, well, he didn't really annoy me, but he was just like there. Like he really didn't give much when he was on the Traitors. But, as much as everybody hate him, especially a part of, the whole Scandival situation, I'm glad that he's getting to be a part of something. And, every year they got to have a villain. So last season they had Candy Muse. This season they got to have Plain Jane. So we'll see how this all works out when the show airs. But I definitely love the fact that y'all got Drita being on there because it's been a minute since we've seen Drita Davanzo on our TV screens. But yeah, I'm definitely here for Drita, Jackie, Ashley, because she's a hot mess whenever she's on the challenge, very emotional. Tiffany is definitely going to be entertaining, and Tom Sandoval. We'll see how Christine Quinn works out. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story and the news regarding the new cast that is going to start filming this week for House of Villains Season 3? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paul for Big Brother. You know who I wish they would have had? I think his name is Paul. Paulie Calafiore, Cara Maria's man, who's talking about how he's fluid and all this other stuff and likes to walk around like scantily clad, and he's definitely a good looking little munchkin. But it would have been nice if they would have had him on House of Villains, because he does have a villainous streak to him at times. Like he does rub a lot of people the wrong whenever he's on the challenge. So it would have been nice if he could have been a part of that show. Maybe he'll do it next season. The ratings, or you said the ratings for Atlanta are out. I'm thinking, wait, how bad is it? Let me know, because y'all know I do be talking about how the Housewives of Atlanta is not doing really well. Even with Phaedra back, I don't think anybody cares. And so then they're talking about Mia, who used to be on Potomac, actually moved to Atlanta, and they may be considering trying to bring her on next season. So they're trying to like entertain that idea. But I don't think people care about the Housewives of Atlanta anymore. And I don't even think if y'all bring Nene back, it would save the show. I feel like it's just done. Like, it's not giving what needs to be given. Jersey is no longer what it was. New York is no longer what it is or what it was. And Atlanta, I just feel like just that whole format is kind of like dying out. Andy Cohen's still trying to keep that coin coming and that franchise alive, but it's not giving what it used to give. I just think that it's aged out. I feel New York would have won, but she went for the jugular and read the what? And he said Paul was on the season of Big Brother that Josh won. Speaking of Josh, you talking about Josh Martinez? Speaking of Josh is on that new reality show that is hosted by Jeffrey D. Morgan. I think it's called Project X or something. He the only name that I recognize that's on that show. I was like, I actually would watch because he's on there, but he's not enough to get me to watch. It kind of reminds me of like not Big Brother. What's that show? The one where they travel around the world and it's on CBS. Kind of reminds me of that. The Amazing Race. Like, it gives me kind of that vibe. They need Carol Smith on there. Okay. Oh, Destination X. He's on that show. And Josh always is like, gets real close but never wins. Like, he never, like, even on the challenge, he never made it to the final. He always gets this close to getting to the final and never makes it. So hopefully he'll be able to make it one of these days. But I like Josh because he's very dramatic. Now, that's somebody need to get on the damn House of Villains. They already had Johnny Bananas on there. So, anyway, let's move on. Child, let's get into some homosexual alleged news. And let's talk about John Travolta because apparently one of the people that is a big time Hollywood mogul is basically claiming that John Travolta dropped out of American Gigolo due to the movie's homosexual subtext. I was like, it's been so long since I've seen American Gigolo. I don't remember if there's any subtext in it. Now you're gonna make me want to watch that movie. Now, former Paramount exec Barry Diller, who co-founded the Fox Broadcasting Company, with Rupert Murdoch, he must be a Republican, shared the anecdote in his memoir, Who Knew, in which for the first time he also discussed his relationship with men. He was also married to Diane von Furstenberg, who, created the rap dress. Now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Dylan said Travolta, who had shot the fame in Paramount's Saturday Night Fever a few years earlier, and then Grease, was set to play Julian Kay in Paul Schrader's 1980 film about a male escort. Dilla claimed Travolta approached Michael Eisner, who was Paramount Pictures president at the time, about stepping back, citing his grief over the death of both his mother and girlfriend Diana Hyland. How is it that everybody that gets around John Travolta ends up dead? Like, his son Jet died, Kelly Preston died, his girlfriend died. I was like, what is going on? Are y'all sacrificing people over there at Scientology, allegedly? Anyway, let's get serious. Now, they said Michael came down to my office and said, John just left, and we have to let him out of the movie because he just can't do it. I said, he's faking it and using you. It's too late to recast, and he's perfect for it. Now, Diller then alleged that Travolta acted this way through a meeting with Michael, and that the real reason the star wanted out was that he was afraid of playing the character because of its somewhat gay subtext. He went to say that he tried to persuade the actor to stay. Well, first of all, John Travolta always looked good back in the day, but Richard Gere definitely turned that part out. No shade. Now, they said, John came to my house one afternoon. I began by saying, right now, you are the biggest star in the world, and you worry about you're going to screw it up. This is a critical time for you, and when you've got a great script and a great part, don't let anything put you off. However, this backfired, and Diller said he made the situation worse because Travolta had told his manager about my criticism of him, so they both hated me. Because he was trying to find ways to get up out of that damn movie, and by any means necessary, he was going to throw your ass under the bus, and that's what he did. Now, Richard Gere, who went on to have an affair with Diller's wife, fashion designer Diane von Furstenberg, she done slept with Richard Gere. Ooh, that must have been some good meat. Eventually stepped into the role, cementing the success he had carved out and looking for Mr. Goodbar. Now, Diller's story echoes Schrader's account of the situation. The director told the Hollywood Reporter last year that Travolta backed out of American Gigolo, which went on to gross close to $53 million at the worldwide box office, close to, well, It's funny how y'all look at $53 million. Like back in the day, that was a lot. But today's standards, 53 million would be equivalent to $206 million at the box office in America today. And it'd be 153 million pounds in, overseas in England, because they do pounds. And they said the movie basically, the budget, I didn't know. The budget was $5 million. So yeah, they made a shit ton of money with that film. Then they said because of his mother's death, his appearance in film flopped moment by moment, and his growing anxiety about the gay subtext of the film. Now, I will say, because this story did come from Pink News, they said they reached out to John Travolta for comment, and of course he did not comment. But I will say this, I'm going to leave this right here. Now, I don't understand how John Travolta out here worried about gay subtexts, especially with this picture that was floating around all over social media. So, sir, are we really going to sit up out here and start having gay subtext moments and talking about you don't want to be doing anything that has to do with homosexuals, but you had the tabloids that snapped this photo? Explain this, sir. Explain it. But anyway, I'm going to just leave it right there and leave it to your own conclusion. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? But look, it probably would have been entertaining to see John Travolta in that part of American Gigolo. But to be honest, I can't see out past Richard Gere playing that part. And I know they did a show version of it on Showtime, which only lasted one season. It was with John Bernthal. And yeah, I love me some John Bernthal, but that show was just, it wasn't it. But I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And I feel like at the end of the day, it all worked out because Richard Gere definitely, it was meant for him. And we see that it took years for John Travolta to really get like a hit movie until he did Pulp Fiction, because everything he touched turned to poop. So let me know what you guys think of this story. But I do wonder if it had anything to do with Scientology. Was they all up in his head, or was he even a Scientologist at the time when that movie came out? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let's get to some of these comments. It said yes. Yes, there was indeed gay subtext in American Gigolo. Winston Duke's character had an unrequited love for Richard Gere's character. I was like, Winston Duke. Winston Duke was M'Baku. I was like, he was way too young to be in that damn movie. He said, I'm sorry, I meant Bill Duke. I love them both. He said, so, yeah, child, that was one of the stories I meant to work on earlier, but I got so caught up in stuff. I was like, I'll have to work on that one later. But I did see that story that that he's filing a $500 million lawsuit. So I'll probably get to that another time. American Gigolo gave us. It sure did. Shout out to Blondie. There's a lot of good songs in that damn movie. He said, yeah, it's definitely partly because of time. It probably was, because I was like, they sure are. Homophobic and a cult. All right, y'all. All right, so let's get into this story. So apparently this news came out about Cecilia Gentili, which this shocked me when I saw this story, because I had no idea that her cause of death was due to a drug overdose. Like, I didn't even know she was doing drugs until this story had came out. I just thought, like, I don't even think there was word on where she passed from. Or am I bugging? So yeah, a New York City drug dealer who admitted providing the fentanyl-laced heroin that killed prominent transgender activist Cecilia Gentili was sentenced Tuesday to 19 years in federal prison, according to prosecutors. Now, shout out to the Associated Press for this story, by the way. Now, Michael Quillan, who's 45, of Brooklyn, was also ordered to pay $24,482 in restitution and forfeit 30 grand in a seized firearm. Saying, quote, Cecilia Gentili was tragically poisoned from fentanyl-laced heroin. U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nocella, said in a statement. They said, quote, today the perpetrators who sold the deadly drugs to Gentili are being held accountable, end quote. Now, Quillan, or is it Quillan, had 3 prior state felony convictions related to the selling to selling heroin before he pleaded guilty to the federal charges last year. This is according to prosecutors. He faces up to 20 years in prison for the drug distribution charge and up to 35 years for unlawful possession of a firearm as a felon in his sentencing in Brooklyn's federal court. Quilon's lawyer didn't immediately respond to the email seeking comment. Now, his co-defendant, Antonio Venti, who's 53 of Long Island, was sentenced in February to 5 years in federal prison after also pleading guilty to the same drug offense last year. Now, prosecutors said text messages, cell site data, and other evidence show that Quilon had supplied Ventili with drugs. Oh, sorry, he supplied Venti with drugs that he then sold to Gentili. And this is why I be telling y'all gotta watch these drugs and stuff that they be passing around here, because these, like I told y'all back in the day when I was drinking and smoking weed and doing the booger sugar and all that other stuff. Thank God that they didn't. That they was not putting the things that they putting in now. Like these days, y'all don't know what the hell they be putting in the stuff. And they be trying to put rope spray and freaking fentanyl and all kinds of other craziness, and everybody be out here just a little bit of the stuff and they be dying. This is the same thing I feel like Michael I almost said Michael B. Jordan. Michael K. Williams, I believe, had the same situation. A drug dealer was sentenced for selling him heroin laced with fentanyl. So they said the 52-year-old Brooklyn resident was found unalive in her bedroom from the combined effect of fentanyl, heroin, xylazine, and booger sugar on February 6, 2024, the day after purchasing the drugs. This is according to prosecutors. The former sex worker had been a leading advocate for other trans people, as well as sex workers and people with the high five. She also acted, as y'all know, in the FX series Pose about the underground ballroom dance scene in the 80s and 90s. Now, Gentili's well-attended funeral on St. Patrick's Day at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan drew outrage from some in the Catholic community, including from the venerable church's own pastor. Oh, why? Because y'all had a problem with a trans woman having a funeral at St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Cathedral? Y'all don't own the damn church. And all you damn sinners that's walking around on this planet, they be letting y'all asses up in there to be buried or to have your little service. What the hell you worrying about her being having the service and stuff there? At the end of the day, if she's a Catholic, then she should be honored in that way. But if y'all gonna be out here doing y'all little drugs and stuff, y'all need to know what's in this stuff. And I know some of y'all don't care. A lot of it is getting high. I had no idea that she had any kind of addicting or issues with addiction. Like, I didn't know that she was out here doing heroin and all this other stuff. I know it might be hard out here, especially like with her background and, sex work and working with sex workers and dealing with a lot of the case management type things. That it could be stressful and dealing with a lot of stuff. And addiction is not easy to maintain, or sobriety, I should say, is not easy to maintain. That if you have an addiction, you're always going to have that craving, and it's a day-by-day situation. And sometimes people slip up, but then sometimes when you do slip up, that slip up may be your last time that you actually get to live on this earth. So look, I'm just, you drug dealers out here that be out here selling these people stuff, I understand y'all got a supply and demand. You the boss and they the client, but if you're going to be out here selling people things that could potentially kill them by lacing it with things that shouldn't even be in the heroin, then you need to do some jail time. So I want to hear from you guys regarding this story. May Cecilia rest in peace. And finally, based off of this, case closed. She could rest easy. And now we know the full extent of what happened and what she passed away from. Because like I said, I had no idea that it was due to some type of an overdose until I read this article. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. When Leah Remini had her show on, they talked to a girl whose boyfriend unalived himself because he was a homosexual. The girl said they would have stayed friends because she loved him. Well, that's crazy. It was like, the girl said, it was like, even though she knew that he was gay, she was like, we could have remained friends. But when you are part of a cult that pretty much teaches you that you're less than human because you have these feelings within you that are natural, sometimes people feel like they have no way out. Not everybody is as fortunate as us to grow up in like these liberal metropolitan areas where we can find our tribe. You probably did. I didn't even know you fell asleep. But yes, we did cover the Andrew Tate story. You can probably rewind it back to if you want to check it out. What I had to say on that. But I was like, I didn't know you fell asleep. Jay. I'm like, this show, what is my show boring? It is a little subdued. Like, we're not doing like these crazy, crazy stories. There's not a lot going on actually in celebritydom. So, but anyway, let's move on and let's get into our final topic. So there is this new show that's coming out that you probably have heard of called King of Drag, which is going to be focusing on drag kings. And Tenderoni, who was a part of the show, is spilling tea regarding what we can expect from this new show that's going to be on Reverie, which I don't know if anybody's really familiar with Reverie, but they got some real good queer content and stuff on there. So now, this is the first ever drag king reality TV show. So I am very much curious to see how this is, even though I am a little worried because I'm like, I've always heard like there aren't really a lot of drag kings out there. Like you don't really hear a lot of drag king performers. I mean, the only one I was really aware of because she's from New York and she's performed in New York spaces was um Landon Sider. That's the only one that I was really familiar with who won Dragula, one of the seasons. So that was the only one I was familiar with. But other than that, I didn't know like there was a lot of drag king performances that was going on. Of course I believe that drag queens do outweigh the amount of drag kings. But hopefully with this show, it will create more drag kings to come out and compete on the show. So it says before Tenderoni officially got the call to join the cast of King of Drag as one of his permanent judges, there were already rumors about the show circulating in Drag King spaces, saying, quote, the Drag King world is very small. So the conversation started bubbling. People were like, oh my God, is this really going to happen? Is this real? This is what Tenderoni told Pride. All the kings were excited. When the email boop showed up in Tenderoni's inbox inviting him to be a permanent judge, it was a no-brainer for the king, saying, quote, when you think about the big picture, this is groundbreaking, she says of King of Drag. This is important. I really want to take this seriously. I really want to be part of this in a positive way. Uplift drag kings. The Tenderoni was tapped as one of the permanent judges, comes as no surprise to anyone following his career. The drag star is the pride of Chicago, where he has built a reputation as an energetic and magnetic performer. His charisma and talent, not the uniqueness and the nerve, thrust him in to victory at Alaska Thunderfuck's Drag Queen of the Year pageant in 2020. Oh, I forgot. I was like, wait a minute. How do I know that damn name Tenderoni? Well, apparently it was like, yeah, because Tenderoni actually competed on, the pageant, which a friend of mine worked on, by the way. Now we said to impart this year's of Kinging experience through critique and advice for a group of kings competing for the title of King of Drag on the first season of hopefully many of Reverie's groundbreaking new dragging competition, heading to the streamer in June. So we finally got a date of when we're going to get it. So it'll be in June, just in time for Pride Month, which I think is great, by the way, that we actually have, it'll be coming out during Pride. There's a lot of really good things that should be coming out in Pride, especially when we're dealing with this current administration that's coming down on the queer community. So we need to be more resilient, and the way we open up hearts and minds is, it seems like, through TV and shows, especially reality shows, when you get to hear a lot of these heartfelt stories from a lot of the queens and hopefully the kings. So hearing these stories, it might open up people's hearts and minds of those who are sitting at home curious like I am to want to get to know these contestants. So, they said beyond simply making for a more entertaining show for fans, the fact that the network is taking things seriously and creating a high quality platform for the Kings really matters. That's because, as it stands now, Kings are really afforded the same opportunity as their drag queen counterparts, which translates into both lack of opportunity to perform and to be paid. And that's why I said before that I haven't really seen a lot of drag kings that were around that are getting the representation, because it's like I don't think they're being invited into the spaces. They said this is not lost on Tenderoni, who sees the major potentially life-changing opportunity a show like King of Drag could offer its contestants, saying, quote, a big goal that I personally want for the cast and the kings on this show is to have these opportunities that the queens have. I'm so grateful that I've had opportunities to tour nationally. I get to travel and perform all over the place. I'm sick of being the token. I'm always the one boy in the cast. I would love for another king to be with me. I would love it to be someone from this show. And I love the fact that we have somebody out here who's selfless enough to pretty much say that, you know, I don't want to be the only one out here. Like, it's lonely when it's like you're the only representation. It's the same thing like with any minority group. Who wants to be the only representation of a specific group of people? Because it's like, yeah, there should be opportunities for other kings to be out here to perform alongside the drag queens. Why can't y'all mix it up and have different types of queens and stuff performing? This is why a lot of times when you've heard so many people, especially a lot of the girls from Drag Race, who have been crying wolf so many times saying, why don't they have AFAB queens, which I did believe they had one on Drag Race. Why don't they have drag kings compete on Drag Race? They're like, oh, and then they come up with every excuse in the book. Well, it's going to be this, and it's going to be too difficult, and you got to change this up, and you got to do that. And it's like, okay, well, then let Rue have his shit. Let Rue have his little show over there. Let him keep the format that he has. He already like opened the floodgate a little bit and let the trans girls in, even though trans girls have been pioneers in the world of drag since before there was a Drag Race. Because I told y'all, me coming up in the nightlife scene of New York City, I've encountered many of trans women who were on stage giving full-on shows and performances and gowns and beads and all the accoutrements that comes with the art of drag. This is before Drag Race. So I've been seeing like a lot of the trans girls out there performing. And so and I always say people need to stop trying to tell other people what to do with their own stuff. And I'm talking about like with Drag Race. So stop waiting for people to create the opportunity. Create it yourself. And that's why I'm glad that they decided, you know what, they're not going to give us the opportunity. They're not going to put drag queens on Drag Race. Then we'll go and we'll create our own show and we'll call it King of Drag. And I'm like, you know what? I like it. I like the fact that they decided, because they always say, if you build it, they will come. So now they also said that naturally presented some wait, hold on. Did I even? Oh, yeah. Let me hold on. Now, it says, speaking of the cast, while it hasn't yet been announced, Tenderoni gushes about the Kings its audience are about to meet. They said the cast is amazing. This is what he said. And was genuinely shocked to not only see how diverse the lineup is, but that he knew that had even worked with several of them. And said, I was so happy to see them because I consider a lot of them as my peers. That naturally presented some complications when it came to giving them critiques. Well, yeah, that's always going to be a case. It's like, okay, now when I've worked with some of these girls, we're on a reality show. And it's like, even though we're peers outside of the club situation, now I have to judge you because that's my job. So no hard feelings. So yeah, he said it was definitely something of a mind boggler, but I took this opportunity very seriously. So I wanted to come into this as a mentor more than a critic. I always want my feedback to be constructive. I always want it to be almost like a big brother to a younger brother. Most of all, though, he was excited to show the world the love and the camaraderie between the kings, saying, quote, all drag kings love each other. You'll see that. It's definitely a love fest, which might, I don't know, we'll see, but I know that might bore some of y'all because a lot of people like the drama. But when it comes to the competitions, I just want to see people compete. I don't always think that there needs to be fighting and bickering and it's got to be all, like RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, I don't always have to be catty. Like, sometimes if you're going to be competitive and that sort of thing and that's how it comes out, then that's great. But don't do the contrived pettiness. Because then I'm like, we can see through all of that. Or when y'all try to produce yourselves, like they do a lot on Drag Race. Now, this says, needless to say, an opportunity like this is I like this to highlight the art of kinging has been a long time coming and has been a source of debate in the drag community and the drag fandom for years. Some want to see the kings get their own platform, while others have been calling for greater inclusion in other drag competition series. Where does Tenderoni land in the debate? Definitely on the side of, well, why not both? Saying, quote, I love this platform dedicated to kings, but I also think that kings and queens can live in the same world too. I've used this metaphor before, but I always think of a drag drag show is like a buffet. When I go to a buffet, I'm getting something from every single part of the different areas. Why can't you have different items of food on your plate? I don't understand why it can't be mixed together. Exactly. So if the day comes where RuPaul's Drag Race sees that, oh well, oh shit, King of Drag is actually working. It's giving us a run for our money. Let's now, because we want to keep the show fresh, let's incorporate Kings onto the show. Then I'm sure we'll be all here for it. And yeah, we all know that RuPaul's Drag Race provides a bigger platform, but until they're ready to do it, then it's like, you know what, we're going to build it and we're going to show them that this show works. And maybe it'll open opportunity for more shows to be made, or Drag Race to finally incorporate drag kings on the show. So it says the lack of king representation not only translates to fewer bookings for these artists, but fewer artists in general. Tony Tenderoni explains, if you think of other shows, there's 17 years of drag queen references for young drag queens to refer to. Drag kings don't have that. We're judged so harshly, but we don't have the same references or resources that drag queens do. For me, the most important part of the show is creating a supportive community and just creating platforms for people who are not represented normally. I feel like this is going to do it. I really hope it does. Now, while fans have yet to see the Kings who will take part in the show, Reverie has teased the permanent and guest judges, and the roster is impressive to say the least. Dragging icon Murray Hill plays the role of host, while Tenderoni is joined by fellow drag king Dr. Wayne Newton, as well as drag royalty Sasha Velour, Got Mick, and Damian Pelicone, or is it Pelicione? On the judging panel, as if there weren't enough star power, guest judges include Cole Escola, Landon Sider, Lisa Rinna, Vico Ortiz, Liv Houghton, Kathleen Hanna, Cameron Esposito, Bridget Everett, and more. But the guest judges who really surprised Tenderoni might also come a bit of a surprise to viewers. They said Paul Feig. When I first I saw him from behind, and he has this beautiful, glorious white hair, and he was like so well dressed. And he was like, "Is Tim Gunn here?" And I was like, "Is Tim Gunn here?" He laughs. Then, when it actually came to sitting down and judging, his feedback was so great, it was deep. I was like, "Wow, you really get drag kings." Well, sometimes it'll surprise you, and I like the fact when the girls get up there and provide critiques and not just come up there and just be like, "Oh yes, Mama Slay, yeah, down boots, oh." Like doing all that bullshit, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop. It's not even how we talk. But to get to Eddie, look, they even say even if you don't want it to be, drag is political. How many times I've been saying drag is political? I always say art is political, like whether you want it to be or not. So he said, as a drag king, every time you step on stage, we're making a statement that we exist and we're not going anywhere. So the show premieres on June 22nd on Reverie. I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops when the queens are actually, or sorry, the kings are actually revealed. We'll talk about it on the show. So yeah, anything that's relatively new and shows any kind of representation for us, I'm always here to support it and promote it and talk about it and all this other stuff. So we definitely need, all the representation that we can get, because it's not, it's slim pickings when it comes to the queer entertainment and the representation. So I'm here for it. Now, to wrap this up, I saw Pink News wrote an article asking if King of Drag is the new Drag Race. And I got this to say on this. Now, first of all, Drag Race will always be the mother of all drag shows because it's been around for going on 18 years. And we've been there since the beginning, some more than others. I'll say for me, I've been there from the beginning. I told you back when I was in college, when when the first season started, I was supposed to be doing my work, and I'm sitting there watching Drag Race because there was no access to logo and all this other stuff. So I watched it on my computer in school. Me and my classmate Tiffany sitting there watching Drag Race while we supposed to be working on our projects. Now, I do believe that we can look, like Tenderoni said, like why we can't have more, like mix all the things on the plate from the buffet. I do feel that we can have more than one drag show coexist in the world of TV. Why can't we enjoy the 8,000 spin-offs of Drag Race in addition to Dragula and King of Drag? In fact, I feel like there needs to be more shows that celebrate the art of drag besides RuPaul's Drag Race. I've been saying that for the damn longest. Now, look, there's been so many aspects of drag, of the drag world that doesn't follow the formula popularized by the house Mama Ru built. So we can have different representatives. I told you I got ideas for drag shows and stuff too that we could show that's outside of what the formulaicness of Drag Race and all the other iterations. We got Drag Race, we got Dragula, and now we got King of Drag. And I'm sure there's other shows that we have that's going to be coming too, hopefully. So yeah, while I'm not familiar with the art of performance regarding drag kings, I am, as I said earlier, interested in checking out this world. And hopefully, with the success of the show, we'll get to see more kings. More kings will try out, and it'll be a good show. So I'm excited to see this. And now I want to hear from you all. Are you guys excited to see this new up and coming Drag King series that's going to be coming out next month on Reverie? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Did you hear that Pablo Vittar's team was reportedly spotted at the Wild Wait, what show he doing? Pablo Vittar, who's actually bigger than RuPaul in the world of drag. Um, they were at the Wild Studios, and I'm like, doing what? Are they about to guest judge RuPaul's Drag Race season 18? Like, what's the tea? I want to know why Pablo Vittar was there. We need to find out what that tea is. hmm Me too. Even though I've heard some people, like, when I posted this thing about the show, there was a lot of negative comments. So people was like, "We don't care about us." I'm not going to sit up here and throw shade at anybody who actually gets out there and tries different things and does different types of art. I definitely enjoyed the drag kings that competed on Dragula. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this show brings. It's time to like, and not even like, but it's just time to like open our minds up to different things and different aspects of the art. Sorry, not sure, but it could be the first episode of All Stars 11 or well, look, don't I'm thinking. I was thinking that they would probably do it like they did the last time, which is if you're doing season 18 and you're talking about doing the finale, that they would probably do it like how they did season 17, where it's like the Lollapalooza, the finale, all of that stuff. When we get down to boil it down to the top 4 queens or however they're gonna plan on doing, we stop production, and then when the season airs, then we think about bringing them back to film the last bit of what we need to film. But hold on, let me go over to Twitter real quick. Oh yeah, first of all, I gotta log into Twitter. I'm so irritated because my computer has this thing where it likes to log me out after a while, and I gotta re-log into all of my socials, my Facebook, my TikTok, my Twitter. It's so annoying. Even my the StreamYard that I use to stream the show. I was like, what is my Twitter? Because I had so many. I think it's Chris Avalon. I think that's what it is. Hold on. And then the annoying part is I gotta put it in dark mode again. Not dedicated to Mr. Trump. Which video they posted? Oh, let me see, because I see that I got a message. It said, "This is actually so." Oh yeah, I see it. This is actually so major. They are the 2 biggest drag queens in the world. Pablo Vittar and RuPaul rumored to be filming something together. Pablo's team was reportedly spotted at the World of Wonder Studios this morning. So we'll find out what it is. It doesn't say what it is. I did watch this video that Madonna posted. There was a behind the scenes thing of like the Brazilian leg of the celebration tour. And then that might have been the first time I heard Pablo Vittar. So I'm like, oh my God, your voice is so annoying. Like the way her voice was sound, I'm like, it was like, ugh. It was a little high, sis. But it was like she was giving woman. We like the voice, the singing voice up. I think it was her attempt at speaking English. I'm like, go back to the Portuguese niece. But yeah, I saw the little situation. I'll definitely be digging into this. I'm sure there'll be some stories made up about it, and if it is, we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. But anyway, speaking of shows, I want to thank you all for tuning into this show. So yeah, we're at the end. Tune in. I'll probably see if I can come on tomorrow. If I gotta check my schedule, see if I'm even doing anything or working or whatever the case is. But yeah, I'll see if heaven forbidding, if there's any tea being spilled, I'll come on tomorrow and give you all another show. But thank you all for tuning in to this latest episode. If you have not already, for the last time, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you all for supporting the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your likes and your love and your comments and all the mess and being messy with me. Love you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.